Alright. So, I can see you guys' chat messages. I think it displays both Twitch and YouTube to the screen. I'm not sure. Let me do that right now. Oh, we're gonna pull up a video while we wait and get it ready to go. Send me videos, by the way. So we're running out of interesting ones. I want to do this one. No, stop. Shut up. Debate what? Debate anything. It's an open panel. You bring the topic. I've never heard of this dope walk run guy. So we're gonna find out. Yeah. Oh, can you guys talk to each other in chat? Oh, that's sick. Can you guys see, like, Twitch chat? By the way, is Orange Bush, is that Orange? Orange, are you in Twitch chat right now? Oops. I keep knocking, like, my, pop filter with my glasses. Oh, you can't? Okay. But it does display both Twitch and YouTube right here. I can see it. Yeah. Orange Bush is, he's on Twitch. So it displays both, which is pretty sick. So this is, Joe Biden versus the United States economy, alright? Joe Biden finna wreck the economy, alright? You guys ready? You guys aren't even ready for how badly the American economy is going to get wrecked by Joe Biden, okay? Just wait for some more people to pour in here a little bit. That'd be cool. I fucking love orange juice, okay? Orange juice is the best thing. It's God's gift to mankind, okay? This stuff is delicious. Oh no. I don't know if you guys heard that, but someone just slammed the door. Orange juice, yes. Or wait, other side, there we go. Sorry, the way my monitors are arranged, I have to move my cursor on the monitor I have on the right. I have to move my cursor all the way to the left to move it back onto the screen. So it's in reverse for me. Strawberry milk or chocolate? That's a good question. I like them both a lot. I would have to say chocolate milk edges it out slightly. Yes, Joe Biden dominates. He suplexes the U.S. economy. He throws the U.S. economy off of the 12-foot steel cage into the Spanish announcer table. Alright, I think we can begin. Alright, this dude's got the Clown World shirt going on right here. You see this? Already. This is already hilarious. Let's see what he says. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna...
This is President Joe Biden.
Yes,
During
he
his
is.
joint address to Congress, Biden bragged about how great the economy was doing during his first 100 days in office.
The
Okay.
economy created more than 1,300,000 new jobs in 100 days.
Okay.
More jobs in the first. More jobs in the first 100 days than any president.
Kinky Biden, not a lot of pride. Yeah. I don't think it's doing terribly given our situation. Yeah.
On record.
Yes, job growth after the worst pandemic in 100 years is...
Wait. So okay, so Trump, right? He comes into office from a recession, right? After Obama, or like you had the Great Recession. Obama creates or like is the president while the economy recovers. And then Trump comes into office, and then everyone's like, all those jobs were created by Trump. Trump created all of those jobs. And then now they recognize that after the economy crashes, more jobs get created after that, like in the preceding years after that. But they're not going to credit Joe Biden with it, even though they did it for Trump, even though it's the same fucking principle. Like, really, neither of them have been, like, I don't know. Whatever. Fucking idiot, dude.
Great. But notice how Biden is phrasing it. He's saying that more jobs were created during his first 100 days as president when compared to every other president during their first 100 days. This isn't an achievement, of course. This is simply Biden being in the right place at the right time.
I could say the same thing about Donald fucking Trump. Yeah, I agree with this. It's just the funny thing is this guy does not apply this to Donald Trump, I promise.
Here's what we mean by delivering for the people. We created, in the first 100 days, 1,300,000 new jobs. 1,300,000 jobs in 100 days. That's more new jobs in the first 100 days of any president in history.
Okay, now Biden is claiming that the administration created those jobs. And if you think I'm taking him out of context, here's a clip from May 6th.
In the first 100 days that...
Hold on, okay, can you make an argument?
Created
I don't
more
care.
jobs in
I get
that
it.
period of time than any administration in history.
Biden and his administration didn't create those jobs. Those jobs were created despite him being president. But he's going to try and take
What the fuck, dude? Like, do you have evidence to that claim?
credit for it anyway.
But the way I look at that, that's just a down payment getting us back.
This video's already...
Biden just called the
Blah, 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 blah,
American
blah.
Rescue Plan the American Recovery Act, which was a bill that was signed by Barack Obama back in February 2009. But whatever. Biden screwing up his prepared remarks during every single speech is a feature, not a bug. Okay,
What?
moving on. Anyway, Biden is getting his job numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics from February and March numbers. And notice how optimistic Biden is about the recovery.
Why spend so much when the economy is still recovering?
Because Keynesian okay, alright, so let's... Oh, yeah. But, like, Trump supporters will credit Trump with the creation of the jobs post the Great Recession, is what I'm saying. So, like, they'll credit Trump with the creation of those jobs after, like, following Obama's recovery efforts, but they won't credit Biden with the same thing, like, in the recovery effort post-pandemic. It's kind of dumb. But anyway, so taxing and spending, like, the economy is on the up and up right now, so that's kind of what you do. This is Keynesian economics, okay? So under Keynesian economics, while the economy's booming, that's when you're taxing people. You're taxing people and you're creating social programs and all that kind of shit. Then, when the economy inevitably crashes, because it will eventually. It's capitalism. The boom bust cycle has been a known phenomenon under capitalism for well over 150 years. Like, it's like we understand this. So when the economy inevitably crashes, what you do is you cut taxes, but you keep the spending. The government will deficit spend when the economy crashes. What this does is it relieves the tax burden on the people, and then while keeping the social programs and stuff to keep them afloat. Well, like, the whole point of this stream is to respond to people like this. That's why. Like, that's what we do around here. We respond to reactionaries. But that's like more responding to the interview question. That's why you're taxing and spending now while the economy's going up, and then when the economy crashes, you cut taxes, keep the spending, deficit spend, and that aids in the recovery post crash. This is John Maynard Keynes put this to paper way back in the 1910s. So we've learned.
The reason why it's recovering.
Hello,
investing.
Orange Bush.
Look how
Test
rapidly
again.
it's recovered since we passed the last piece of legislation. And that legislation was $1.9 trillion.
It's just a down payment, this rapid recovery. It's all because of me, Dr. Jill Biden's husband. Anyway, before the April jobs report was released, economists predicted that the U.S. economy likely created nearly 1 million jobs. Reuters wrote, the Labor Department's closely watched employment report on Friday will be the first to show the impact of the White House's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 pandemic rescue package, which was approved in March. It is likely to show the economy entered the second quarter with even greater momentum, firmly putting it on track this year for its best performance in almost 4 decades. So, on the morning of May 7th, just moments before the release of the jobs report, the Morning Roundtable on CNBC was pumped and made some lofty predictions. I think it's going to be upwards of 1 million, 1.3 million, 1.5 million, 1.15 million. Oh my god!
Well, okay, so like even like his supporters aren't intelligent, sure, but they still managed to get a president elected, right? So there's still a very, very prevalent political force in America right now. So responding to their arguments is still kind of prudent of us, because we want to combat the spread of bad ideas, right? Because clearly these bad ideas are prevalent enough to get a president elected. Anyway, have fun playing Dark Souls.
Steve, just tell us the numbers already.
Wow, it just came across. Give me a second here. We have the number here. Just came across.
Uh-oh.
Whoa!
Sorry about that. It came across very quickly here. It looks like 266,000.
Whoops!
It looks like it was a big disappointment at 266, but maybe I have that wrong. Let me double check the Bureau website here. 1 second. Yes, 266 is correct. Unemployment little change to 6.1%.
Now, while some may think that these dismal numbers might be a fluke, there are indications that they're probably not that far off. The NFIB Small Business Jobs Report showed that a record 44% of small business owners reported having job openings that they could not fill. Meanwhile, Biden had previously scheduled a press conference to celebrate what was assumed
I'm so confused. Wait.
impressive job growth. But he showed up a half hour late because they needed to rewrite his statement. Womp womp.
Hold on. Wait. First off, what? Inflation is coming? What the? I'm so confused. What the fuck is this person's like prescriptive argument here? He's not making one. He's just like, oh, the fucking like they projected an economic event and it didn't happen as expected. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, like that happens. Sometimes you expect the economy to do something and it does something else. So like I don't know what this person wants.
This morning we learned that our economy created 266,000 jobs in April. Hadn't been adjusted again yet, but that's what it says, 266. And listening to commentators today, as I was getting dressed, you might think that we should be disappointed.
The numbers came out at 8:30 a.m. When was this guy getting dressed?
But when we passed the American Rescue Plan,
Listen, if I can help it, I'm not getting dressed at all. So like that's pretty good to me.
I want to remind everybody, it was designed to help us over the course of a year, not 60 days, a year. We never thought that after the first 50 or 60 days, everything would be fine.
Notice the walking back. First it was a rapid recovery, all thanks to the American Rescue Plan. You're welcome, America. But now Biden's saying, the plan wasn't designed to initiate a rapid recovery. Come on, man. Pro tip, Joe.
Well,
Don't
no.
count the chickens before they had.
Okay, so the rapid recovery plan was like a rapid, like the definition of the word clothes are for chuds. True. We do everything naked around here. So the rapid recovery plan was like meant as like you can like the word rapid is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. In terms of a recovery from a recession like this, like yeah, 100 days or a year even could be considered a rapid recovery. So like Biden being like, whoa, we fucking recovered the economy already, and then being like, no, actually we didn't, but it wasn't meant to anyway. Like, yeah, that's bad optically, obviously, but it's not that much of a problem, I don't think.
So, why did the jobs number fall short? Well, many critics are pointing to Biden's so-called American Rescue Plan as a main cause. That bill, which Biden signed on March 11th, extended federal unemployment benefits through September 2021.
Wait, are you gonna...
at $300 a week. And that $300 a week is on top of state benefits. So for many people, the incentive to stay home is just too great.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so the creation of new jobs and the unemployment rate are two different statistics. Like, those are two different things that you were conflating. Like, he did... whatever.
Why would you go look
Fucking
for
moron.
work when you can stay home and play Warzone with your squad and get paid for it?
Do you believe enhanced
True.
unemployment benefits had any effect on diminishing a return to work in some categories?
No, nothing measurable.
Of course, many disagree with that assessment, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The disappointing jobs report makes it clear that paying people not to work is dampening what should be a stronger jobs
True.
market.
My
The
mom.
$300 benefit results in approximately 1 in 4
What's up,
recipients
Dice?
taking home more in unemployment than they earned working. But no, America, nothing measurable. Then, the following Monday, in response to criticism, Biden laid down the law.
We're going to make
Whoa.
it clear that anyone
Let's
collecting
go to the SmackDown here.
who is offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits. That's the law.
Malia Pollack, a labor economist at ZipRecruiter, laws requiring unemployment insurance beneficiaries to search for work were suspended because of the health crisis.
Okay.
And only half of states have since reinstated them. And when there are requirements, they're pretty...
Okay, so, alright, we're, like, this is super hard to respond to because we would have to, like, look at, like, the job, reports for, like, each individual state and, determine a correlation there. I feel like this video is a little bit too technical to just, like, respond to on stream like this, so I think we're gonna move on. I would have to, like, actually look at a lot of data and stuff. So, chat, how's it going? How's it going, Dies? Long time no see. Mr. Dies. Hey, Sybil, can you, find me something funny. Find me something funny to respond to. Feeling good. Nice. That's what I like to hear. I like the setup I got going on now. It looks pretty sick. It's Mr. Dies Way Too Much. Yeah. That's lay pyramid. Okay, cool. something super chuddy, alright? Can we get like razor fish? Or Styx Hexenhammer? Something like that? I gotta be more careful with what I say now though, because we're on Twitch now. I can't say the super edgy stuff. Or I'm gonna get banned. Yeah, nothing too crazy over the top edgy, because like I don't want to get banned from Twitch for responding to a video. That'd be pretty not pog. Wait, hold on, wait a minute, 1 second. Let's see. Yes, that is him. That is the Mr. Dies. We don't have emotes yet. We'll get emotes, don't worry. At some point in the future, we will have emotes. Excuse me. Send it to me on Discord, by the way. Let's get this dumbass off our screen. But I wanted to go to here. Yep. Okay. Well, let me know when you send it, because I have notifications off, and also I'm doing something. There we go. We got the viewer count that it now also includes Twitch. So let's go. Yes, hello 6 viewers. My non-existent audience. Don't worry. We'll accrue a small audience eventually, hopefully. Just gotta keep at it. Playing Dark Souls 3. Nice. At some point we might do some game events too. We might do Dark Souls fight clubs or For Honor fight clubs as like a celebration. But I gotta first set up the capture card for the PlayStation 4. that'll be pretty cool. Something, like I said, we could do Razorfish. Because, like, the rest of the videos in the playlist here are, like, stuff that I'd want to make full-scale video responses to, instead of just responding to off the cuff on stream. Because they're all, like, economic stuff where I'd have to fact-check a lot. Like, I just want to talk right now, you know what I mean? We don't need to do the research stream at the moment. At least not this early. We could do that later. And remember to like the stream and share and shit too. That'd be cool. I would love you forever. Ooh. Ooh, what? What do we got? Okay. Let's see it. Soviet fuckboy. Oh, it's Razorfish. Wait. Stop. Okay. No! Shut up! Look at this dude. Also, don't you love the fact that, like, everything is black and white except this red? Hold on, before I start, let me pulse.
These were socialists.
That's a fucking... Alright, we're 4 seconds in, and he's already incorrect. Communist roots of cancel culture. That's pretty funny. But we're gonna do this one first. This one looks more funny.
Just thought I'd flop that one right on your chin off the bat to frighten off all the ideologues. The party that became the...
I am not frightened. Oh god. He knows. He knows that the Nazis were socialists. The Nazis were not socialists, okay? Like, can we get that out of the way? Do we have any disagreement in chat right now? See, the Nazis, okay, so you had the socialist sect of the Nazi party, right? And those are the Strasserrites. And then you had what was called the Night of the Long Knives. And Hitler had all of the actual socialists in the Nazi party killed, including Strasser himself. So yeah. What's
Nazis existed even before the establishment of fascism, though in a greatly altered, infinitely more communistic form, as early as 1920
Hitler, well-known communist, yes.
or so. But the authoritarian colossus we know from the 40s and 30s became what it was in direct response to the ascent of Italian fascism under Prime Minister and eventual dictator Benito Mussolini, from whom I will now quote. State intervention in economic production arises when private initiative is lacking or insufficient, or when the political interests of the state are involved. This intervention may take the form of control,
What?
assistance, or direct management. This
Yes. Okay. So, socialism, right? Oh, turn them up? Okay. I'll go right about there. Okay, so socialism is not when government does stuff, okay? Do we all understand this? So, socialism is when not state ownership can be socialistic. Like, for example, in the USSR, the political party, the Workers' Party, owned all, like, not all of, but much of the productive capability of the nation, supposedly on behalf of the workers. Now, how well that actually works out in practice is debatable, obviously. There's a little bit left to ambiguity. It doesn't work out. But when like state ownership in and of itself is not socialism. So under fascism, under Benito Mussolini's fascism specifically, the state would nationalize certain industries so as to better serve the interests of the nation. It is not labor that governs society. It is the national interest. So that's the difference. It's a fundamental philosophical difference.
This is from Fascism, Doctrines and Institutions, published in 1932, pages 135 to 136, in case you were fucking curious. Outright seizing the means of production is the bedrock of...
Yeah, okay, so we could do this with anything, right? We could be like, engaging in revolutions is the socialist bedrock, so therefore the founding fathers were socialists. Like, we could do this with anything. The French revolutionaries were socialists. We all know that socialism is when government does stuff and the more stuff... yeah. Yeah, sure.
Socialism. Marxism, even. Incidentally, the book I've just quoted, essentially the Bible of fascism, was largely ghostwritten by Giovanni Gentile, the scarcely acknowledged individual who actually conceived the concept of fascism in the first place. Gentile was a philosopher and at one point an outright Marxist. He was murdered 2 years before even Mussolini was by partisans.
By communists, yes, because it turns out that fascism and communism are diametrically opposed philosophies. So they tend to be enemies. Just like Hitler was a sworn, like, mortal enemy of the USSR. What the fuck? Oh, thanks for the follow, Wraith. I was not expecting that. That scared the shit out of me. Yeah, you did. You fucking got the shit out of me. Anyway. So... what was I saying? Great, now I forget what I was saying, Wraith. Fucking piece of shit. Why aren't you following, motherfucker? The orange bush? Where's your follow? Huh? There we go. Oh, Taste of Floor. Thank you for following. Alright, well, okay, so Hitler was a sworn enemy of fascism, of communism. And in Spain, Franco's Falangist movement, which was a fascist movement, was founded on opposing the communists and the liberals on the opposing side, which after the coup, it devolved into a civil war with the liberals and the communists and the anarchists on one side and the fascists on the other. So, like, these philosophies just are completely and utterly diametrically opposed. We could go into exactly how, too. So, fascism is about national interests. It's about it's rigid hierarchy, Hegelian dialectics. It appeals. They think that morality can be made through, or can be determined through appeals to a natural order, like certain actions are part of a natural order, which makes them moral or immoral, depending on whether they're in opposition to said natural order or not. Whereas communism is about the eradication of hierarchy. It's about the elimination of the class hierarchy and the eventual elimination of state, which the state being a hierarchical institution. So these philosophies oppose one another. Hitler was a fascist. He was not a socialist. He was not a communist. Socialism isn't just government doing shit either, but we already went over that, so...
The mistaken presumption that fascism is corporatism, so often espoused and re-espoused by so-called democratic socialists to demarcate themselves from the Nazi and fascist ideology their movement inevitably inspired, is...
Okay, so... corporatism doesn't mean what the Soc Dems think it means, and it doesn't mean what this guy thinks it means. Corporatism is literally any society in which it's governed by a special interest, and that special interest can be anything. So, for example, you have syndicalism, which is when unions control society. Labor controls society. It's being governed by a special interest. It's a hammer and sickle with a line, like a cross through it, like the circle and a cross. So syndicalism would be a form of corporatism. Theocracy, where society is governed by the church and by religion, that is corporatism. When society is governed by science, like a technocracy, that is corporatism. Corporatism is any time a special interest group is controlling society.
It's based on a quote attributed to Mussolini in the Encyclopedia Italiana, and for the reasons I've just mentioned has...
Oh, and by the way, one last thing. Fascism is inherently corporatist. Yes. But so are many forms of socialism. But the exact nature of that corporatism is starkly different.
Has seen heavy traffic in leftist circles. It's even popped up in supposed history programs on TV and YouTube. You know who you fucking are.
He abandons his anti-capitalism to instead embrace private entrepreneurship with an element of syndicalism thrown in to give workers more influence.
Yes, this is correct. Indy Nidell is one. By the way, any channel with Indy Nidell hosting it is awesome, and you should check it out. He does excellent history content. He hosted the Great War, which was the World War I show exactly 100 years later every week. He did the same. He's doing the same thing for World War II. He has his Time Ghost channel. It's all really, really good historical content, so you should definitely check it out. But he's correct here. The term privatization originates from Nazi Germany privatizing industries and public sectors that were previously not controlled by private interests. And hold on one second. I'll pull it up real quick. Give me 1 second. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to pull it up on Wikipedia. So you had this. This is the German Labor Front. This was a national... So the difference between what I would define as like my version of syndicalism, because I am a syndicalist, and fascist syndicalism is that under fascist national syndicalism, there is a single national union that controls, that basically every working member of society is a member of. You could see the membership by 1945 here was 22 million. This was this labor union had significant political influence in Nazi Germany, and it was the element of syndicalism that Indian Idell is referring to right now. And this comes from the roots of fascism as coming from national syndicalism. National syndicalism, of course, being what I just described as a single overarching labor union. And that's what separates it from the more left-leaning revolutionary syndicalism.
Without eliminating the traditional employer-employee relationship in a corporatist structure.
This is bullshit.
That quote is as follows. Fascism should more properly be called corporatism because it is the merger of state and corporate power. The problem? The quote is apocryphal, outright fiction. It not only never appears in the Encyclopedia Italiana, but the statement is outright contradicted by several within the doctrine of fascism, like the one about seizing the means of production.
Okay. All right, so do you understand that, like, well, he doesn't understand this, but the fascists technically would seize the means of production, quote unquote. They would nationalize industries for the furthering of the national interest, not for the workers. The workers weren't really, like, thought into it. They would use rhetoric that was co-opted from socialist movements, but no socialist would ever be saying things like fair wages in their rhetoric, because socialists don't believe in wage labor. They believe it's called wage slavery in our circles. But anyway, moving on.
That I just quoted. But we're not here to talk about fascists in Italy or otherwise, or how fellow travelers have said about erasing the socialistic origins of Mussolini's rise. We have noxious gender studies majors with more hair colors than...
Yeah, okay, so this is like historical ignorance to the absolute maximum. I already kind of explained the origins of fascism and how it arose out of national syndicalism, but it became something a lot different than even national syndicalism. It's like founding, or if it's a progenitor ideology. It is something much, much different, like post rising to power than it was in the 1910s and 1920s.
And personality traits for that. So let's rap about Nazis, shall we? Literally, Hitler's Germany, like Mussolini's Italy, reserved the right to seize the means of production should it become unproductive. Hence, the government shall...
Yes, but socialists want to seize all means of production with no fucking exceptions, regardless of productivity, for the workers.
Intervene when incentive is lacking, quote I reference from fascism doctrines and institutions. Both Italy and Germany retained this policy, though the cooperation of private industry under threat of seizure and violence meant they were rarely forced to actually employ it. But make no mistake, the threat was real. In fact, the 25-point economic plan of the Nazi Party included the following, quote, the nationalization of all trusts, profit sharing in large industries, and an agrarian reform in accordance with our national requirements, and the enactment of a law to expropriate owners without compensation of any land needed for the common purpose.
Yes, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the seizing productive capabilities on behalf of the state. This isn't socialist. This is fascist. This is why fascism is not socialism. This is like antithetical to socialism, because it keeps intact a lot of the economic relationships and institutions that socialists want to destroy. Like trusts. Like there's no way a socialist society would allow trusts.
abolition of ground rents, and the prohibition of all speculation in land. A particularly alarming one was also, quote, "We demand the immediate communalization of large stores which will be rented cheaply to small tradespeople." A law that wouldn't look a bit out of place at a Seattle City Council meeting. Socialist policies all.
What? Wait, hold on. Are you saying Seattle is socialist? Hold on. What? This guy unironically thinks that, like, neoliberals, fascists, communists, anarchists, and sockdems are, like, all the same thing. Like, all of these diametrically, like, opposing ideologies are all the same thing because they all have some measure of socialization. To him, that's the only, like, tenet of any ideology, is whether or not you want some level of what's the difference? Oh my god. I'm not explaining the differences between, like, 7 different ideologies that he just conflated. That he conflates in his head. Like, there's whatever. We're moving on.
Which wasn't surprising. Gottfried Feder, who first drafted them, was an adamant anti-capitalist. He was later made the economic planner under Hitler and the Nazis, as was Ferdinand Zimmermann, aka Ferdinand Fried.
Wait, why are you green now? What the hell is this? Huh.
Reading Fried's writings in Die Tat illuminates the socialistic underpinnings of national
okay.
whole cloth. He also wrote a book entitled Das Ende des Kapitalismus, a title I'm sure I don't need to translate. In 1932, his first act would be an expressly socialist job creation program. Once appointed...
Yeah, and they actually successfully managed to basically eliminate unemployment, though I have to say that the elimination of unemployment in Nazi Germany is kind of misleading because of the way they calculated unemployment. But that institution did exist. But I feel like I've addressed a lot of this already.
Admittedly shifted to rearmament, but it should be noted that he repeatedly stated this was effectively a job creation program.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Once appointed chancellor, he admittedly shifted to rearmament, but it should be noted that he repeatedly stated this was...
You're right, he did shift to rearmament. Why? The Autonomous Socialist Territory of Seattle. Yeah. Fucking moron, dude. Dude, this guy is so fucking stupid. As, like, a 14-year-old, I used to watch this fucking idiot. Not anymore. Except to do this. This guy is so unbelievably historically inept. It is hilarious.
It was effectively a job creation program anyway. Socialists often lapse into warmongering to fund their flagging job programs. Just ask Woodrow Wilson. We'll explain why that is in a moment. Tellingly...
Wait, do you think Woodrow Wilson was a Wait, hold on. Did he say that?
That he repeatedly stated this was effectively a job creation program anyway. Socialists often lapse into warmongering to fund their flagging job programs. Just ask Woodrow Wilson.
What? What? I knew it! He literally thinks, like, everything that is, like, not free market capitalism, like, to the absolute maximum, anything that's not that is socialist. No wonder he thinks the Nazis are socialists. Yes, Woodrow Wilson is a socialist now. The word's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. Yes, socialism is when the government does stuff. Woodrow Wilson was hardly even a sockdem. He was like... I mean, like, I guess technically he could be considered a sockdem, but, like, he was hardly even that. He was pretty right-wing for a sockdem. Woodrow Wilson. Yes, true. Socialism is what it implies.
We'll explain why that is in a moment. Tellingly, Maynard Keynes, father of Keynesian economics and philosophical force behind
Keynes? I've never heard it pronounced Keynes. Is that how it's pronounced?
contemporary regulated economies, praised Hitler's policies in the preface to the German edition of his book, The General Theory, which was released during Nazi rule. Quote, "Nevertheless, the theory of output as a whole, which is what the following book purports to provide, is more easily adapted to the conditions of a totalitarian state than is the theory of the production and distribution of a given output under conditions of free competition and a large measure of laissez-faire," unquote. Socialism is not only married to Nazism, it thrives under it. But only...
Hold on. Okay. So, I feel like I've already addressed this argument. Like, he just makes the same argument over and over again. And I've already addressed it. It's really boring. I thought it was Keynes. I always pronounce it Keynes, but Keynes? Sure, whatever. It's not that big a deal. So, like, we've already addressed how, like, Nazi Germany wasn't even, like, socialist in nature. He is pronouncing it wrong. Am I pronouncing it right? Keynes? 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 K. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. Cool. That's what's up. So, I wanted to skip to a new argument.
The father of modern socialist economics to be in any way an authority on the fucking subject.
What? Keynes was a fucking liberal. Wait. Nothing about Keynesian economics. Hold on, I gotta turn my gain down a little bit because I want to scream. Nothing about Keynesian economics is socialist. Is it not real? Can you like that? Can you source that? That doesn't sound like something he would say anyway, because he, like, his whole school of economics, like, he was like, yes, yeah, socialism is when the government does stuff. It's absurd. This is totally, completely absurd. When Keynes is a socialist to you, you've lost the plot.
Clinging to technicalities while skirting the meat of the matter is the surest sign of a facile fucking argument, and those who purport the Third Reich's economy was capitalist go one further still, ignoring the threat of seizure by government and...
Okay, so, alright, I think I understand now. Alright. He thinks that the only valid form of capitalism, or the only capitalism is only when there's no government intervention. If there's government intervention at all, then it's socialism. Like, the whole system is socialist. It's just like, the second the state intervenes in the economy to, like, fucking, I don't know, make a minimum wage or something, it's instant. Like, the capitalism disappears, it disintegrates, and it's socialism now. It makes no sense.
Ignoring that even what little private ownership they had was in fact largely ceremonial. The substantive powers of ownership, as with all socialist regimes, were enjoyed not by the citizenry, but by the German government. It wasn't the business...
There you go. You hit the nail on the head, my friend. You hit the nail on the fucking face, okay? The seizure of the means of production under fascism is to benefit the national interests, the interest of the nation, not the workers. That is what distinguishes it from socialism. They are perfectly fine with private enterprise and private industries so long as they are serving the national interest. They will still preserve the relationship of capital and wage labor and all of that stuff. All things socialists oppose, they will still preserve all of that if it serves the national interest, if it maintains productivity for the national interest. It is not socialist, it's fascist. It is something different.
Owners who decided what to produce, how to produce it, or how many to produce. The Nazi government did that. It wasn't the business owners who decided how it was disseminated to the market.
That doesn't
what
matter.
To charge, or even what percentage of the profit the owners actually accrued. Here again, the air quotes capitalist government of Germany did that. Modern Sweden, whose socialist soy pods celebrate as a wonder of capitalist cum kami economic integration, has an all but unregulated economy by comparison, and it's worth noting.
Do you know why? Because the fucking... Do you know why, like, the Swedish regulation has a lot to do with unions, basically. So, like, it doesn't need to be... Like, the state doesn't need to intervene to create things like a minimum wage or anything like that, or, like, to mandate workers' benefits, because the workers can collectively bargain for that stuff anyway, because they have strong unions. Not, like, I don't think... But it's more left-leaning than the fucking fascists would be, because the fascists didn't give a shit about fair wages or fucking anything like that. I mean, to the extent they did, it was to get power, and then after that, they did absolutely nothing in that regard. Anyway.
Swedish economy had to be unregulated because shortly after the sweeping socialist welfare reforms were instituted, economic growth fucking froze until deregulation began greasing the wheels once more.
All I hear is that Sweden is this socialist paradise.
Can we fact check
have
that?
a bigger welfare state than the U.S., higher taxes than the U.S., but in other areas, when it comes to free markets, when it comes to competition, when it comes to free trade, Sweden is actually more free market. But we did have a period, and we had something that resembled socialism, a big government that taxed and spent heavily, and that's the period in Swedish history when our economy was going south. There were waiting lines to get help.
Well, I don't know. I want to fact check that, but at the same time, I don't want to do the research streamio at the moment. We're still only like, I don't even know how long we've been streaming. An hour and 10 minutes. It's too early.
Care people couldn't get the pension that they thought that they depended on for the future. At that point, the Swedish population just said, enough, we can't do this.
In many ways, Sweden's economy today is less regulated than even we are, still stewing in socialistic New Deal dog shit as we have been since World War fucking II. Thanks, FDR, who praised fascism as a wonder of civic planning, by the by. Ownership of the economy is de facto under fucking Nazism, because the watchword of the day was...
Okay, so, like, this whole... I kind of want to just move on, because the whole premise of the video is incorrect, and we already established that the premise of the video is incorrect, and therefore everything after that is incorrect until the premise is fixed, which he is not going to do over the course of this video, of course, because it's already made. But, I feel like we could just move on to the next thing, because it's all predicated on the premise that any government intervention in the fucking economy at all is socialist, which is basically renders the entire word entirely meaningless. Whoops. So hold on, we're gonna do the next one. Or wait. Here we go. Well, okay, hold on. I want to do this. I was gonna do the next Razorfish video, but this one looks so much more funny. Hold on, wait. Let's close this. This is, are women capable of love?
Hi everyone, this is Sandman, and this is my second video, and it's entitled, Women Are Incapable of Love. So today I'd like to talk...
Wait, really? How much subs does this dude have? Oh my god! He's got so many views, but he has his subs hidden. And then the women come in, and you know what? There you go. What? Wait, hold on. What the fuck is this? Just expensive cars, being out on dates, getting free stuff. Most of all, they love themselves. Okay. Weird. Wait. Who are you? 70 sub Andy over here. You are a woman. What the hell? Are there women MGTOWs? Is that a thing? Debate infrared. I don't want to debate infrared. Why does everyone tell me to debate infrared? Did infrared like already find my channel and now he's sending his audience to come tell me to debate him or something? I haven't even said anything prescriptive. Debate Destiny. Okay, let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Sandman, and this is my second video, and it's entitled "Women Are Incapable of Love." So today I'd like to talk to everyone.
Yes, there are
about
women incels. Of course, they're called femcels, right? But there are, like, this person is apparently a woman, right? Like, on the surface. I don't know. I don't know why everyone wants me to debate infrared, right? Like, what makes you think I want to do that? But, like, it's like agreeing with the MGTOW. Like, I don't get it. What the hell is this?
their favorite four-letter word, and the difference between how men and women experience love, and why I believe that most women are essentially incapable of love.
Yeah,
but before I bring up why I believe women in general are incapable of loving men, I think it's important to define love from a male perspective. So what is love? My definition is that love is a chemically induced altruism triggering irrational behavior towards women in the minds of men. When a man falls in love with a woman, his reason and judgment become impaired by the quote-unquote happy hormones and chemicals released by the brain. And if those chemicals are powerful enough, men cease to think and act in their own self-interests. And women understand this, and this is why I believe many women are interested in hearing those three magical words from many guys, and those words being, I love you.
Okay, right? Who knows? Are trans women incapable of love too, Mr. Sandman? Is that a thing? Okay, this is hilarious already. Okay, so like I don't even know how to begin to respond to this. It's just incorrect on the surface because like the chemical reaction that he just described happens in women too, all of the time. Like it's measured in both sexes to an equal extent by psychologists and by like, you know, all of our modern techniques. It doesn't not appear in women. Oh my god.
If women felt the same way that men do, then they wouldn't need the constant reminder from men, and you know, things like flower.
Men like getting told that they are loved too. That's just the thing people do. People like that. People like the gratification. People like the reciprocation of those like feelings of affection. Like, it's not hard to understand. What the...
Letter writing, jewelry, and other small gestures of affection would be something that they wouldn't need. And these gestures seal in the minds of women that the man that they are with really loves them. If they experience love the same way that men do, then they don't need constant reminders of male affection. So maybe women...
Untrue. Oftentimes, it's like, do you know why people like snuggle? Why they hug? Why they, you know, do all that kind of stuff? It's a show of affection. No different than saying I love you. It's all a show of affection. Everyone likes having their like shows of affection reciprocated. I don't know what this guy's fucking even talking about, okay? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's on some other shit, okay?
that don't need these constant small gestures
Whoops, I
in their
just threw my
relationships,
mouse across
but
the
better understanding of their own mental state, or a better understanding of love in general. Maybe they're actually capable of experiencing love the same way as men. I don't really have enough knowledge to make that call, but in my own personal experience, these types of females make up a very small minority of the...
You don't have enough knowledge to make any of the calls you're making in this video. You just don't.
Population. Now, I don't take religion very seriously, and effectively I'm an atheist. But I do find something interesting in the Bible. According to God, men are...
Wait, he's conflating socialized styles of giving and receiving affection with it being a natural product of evolution? Yeah, on some level. Yeah, he is doing that. But, like, his premise is incorrect too, so, like, it's fundamentally incorrect. It's not even incorrect, like, at a detailed level like that. It's just fundamentally incorrect.
Are commanded to love their wives. Women, on the other hand, are commanded to be subservient and obey men. There is no commandment for women to love their husbands. Maybe the biblical writers knew...
Wait, so the Bible is sexist. I didn't know that. Wow. What a revelation.
Something that we don't today. Maybe they knew that women are effectively incapable of love.
No.
The story of Adam and Eve is
they didn't know
also
that.
interesting if we reverse it.
That's
what if
incorrect.
Adam had come to Eve and offered her the apple instead? Personally, I don't think Eve would have eaten it. Instead, she might have gone to God and said, Adam tried to get me to eat the forbidden fruit. How dare him?
Well, yeah. But that, like, this is relying on the premise that women's psychology is that much different than men, which it's not. Like, on a basic level, there's just, like, there's hardly any different. Yeah, this fucking guy, yeah. He's fucking crazy. He's losing his shit over here, okay? Also, should we move on from this painting? I mean, he didn't get, I think we should, just in case Twitch is like...
to think rationally. Eve was like a Trojan horse, used to disarm his defenses
before we get
convince him to do something
like acts
he
for
wouldn't
nudity
have otherwise done, if you believe such things. Today, women want men to buy them things because it goes against men's natural and rational self-interests to spend money on women. Once women are sure that the man is acting irrationally, hence in love...
Well, dude, this person, like, literally thinks women are, like alien predator, like, succubi from, like, another dimension or something. Coming to prey on men. Oh, this is so sad. This is so sad.
They know that he is under her spell and becomes easier
it's educational
to control.
Nudity?
And
but, like, Twitch... I don't think Twitch cares.
And becomes the informal property of the woman.
Like, we're still nude here, but, like, all the bits are,
found in his own head.
Are hidden.
Evolution has made it this way.
Also, look at this kitty. Look at the kitty down here. Kitty witty.
Men would see that marriage and children are actually not in his own best interests, and thus there would be no procreation of the species, and we would all come to an end.
This down here is not a lion, Wraith. I know it captures my cursor. I know you see it. That is not a lion. That is a house cat. Fucking dumbass. I didn't mean this. I meant this.
Otherwise, men would see that marriage and children
No, it's not a baby lion. It's a fucking house cat.
Interests,
lions aren't white.
And thus there would be no procreation of the species, and we would all come to an end. Everything around us is created.
See, like, I don't know how to even respond to this because it's just like it's just pulled out of his ass. He just doesn't. He just made all of this up. So I'm just like, the only thing I could say is he just made this up.
To perpetuate the illusion that women love men the same way that men love women. If this
They don't
illusion-
need. There is no illusion. Like, we can prove that scientifically that's true. That women do love, not just like men, but also their children. In fact, like, some of the strongest love that that exists within the human species is between a mother and her child. Like, psychologically. So women are not only capable of love, but they're more capable, like, they're capable of a more intense love than even men are in certain circumstances, like on average. So, incorrect.
Was broadly exposed to be just that, an illusion, it is quite conceivable that women and human populations in general would fall. This is what we are seeing in Japan currently. Men are using their
No! So this is what happens. This is largely why industrialized societies, their birth rate decreases just like across the board. Every industrialized society experiences this. The reason Japan's birth rate, or Japan's like population, is going so far down in comparison to everywhere else is everywhere else allows like a certain amount of immigration to keep up with the drop in birth rate. But Japan is much more stringent, like ethno-nationalist almost, and they can't get their people to fuck. Italy had this problem under Mussolini, and they couldn't solve it. Like, industrialized societies, the birth rate just drops, and I think the consensus on why this is that raising children goes from just having your farm and you have a bunch of kids, and your kids, you feed the kids with what you farm, and you do that. But then once your society industrializes, you have to raise kids with your accrued wealth that you get from working, and that you can only work so much in proportion to, or compared to a farmer. You have to work more to get the resources you need to raise more kids. So you have, people on average have less kids because it's more expensive to raise kids in an industrialized society.
Reason and rational thinking instead of flooding their bodies with love hormones. Thus, they are shunning the women in their own society.
All thinking that occurs, by the way, every single thought that crosses your mind is the result of electric impulses and chemicals and hormones in your brain. That is what all thinking is. So reason is also that. What you define as rational reason, that is also just hormones and chemicals in your brain. There's nothing different going on with your reasoning capabilities than with your subconscious emotional capabilities. It's the same exact process. The same
Today's
type of
pop culture
process.
writes women characters in film and television to behave and feel and act exactly like men. Oftentimes, male scriptwriters are writing the female characters the way they really want women to be in real life. And men are seeing this as a form of not only entertainment, but socialization. But in fact, this is just an illusion. And women are also being conditioned by pop culture to act more like men. They appear more fully empathetic and altruistic on film and television, and therefore, women in real life are attempting to take on these same qualities.
I don't think we can continue. He's just asserting shit. He's not sourcing anything. At least Razor Fist, reference, material, and I could work with that. But, this guy just asserts everything. It's all just random assertions. I want to see stuff, though. Hold on, let's look at the comments. That is so depressing, I think I just might cry. But it's better to hear the truth. People believe him. A woman's loyalty is tested when her man has nothing, and a man's loyalty is tested when he has everything. What? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, stop. Okay. I don't know. Next. Fuck this shit. It's my Discord. The ideal East Asian man. Can LGBTQ plus and Christians see eye to eye by Jubilee. Sargon of Akkad. You know what? Fuck it. We'll do Carl Gunn.
I was appointed.
What the hell? How old is this video? Oh my god, June. 1,000-year matriarchy has begun. Alright, here we go. Alright, Carl gone. What do you got? I remember I used to like this person. This is another person I used to watch when I was like fucking 15 or 16.
As Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women 6 months ago. And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. My recent research has shown me.
See, this is a criticism only a feminist could make, because only a feminist would be able to make that distinction. Only someone who actually believes in women's liberation would be able to make the distinction between, like, when another feminist is being, like, man-hatey. This is not something Sargon would be able to fucking, like, identify.
An unpopular word. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one?
Man, this is a real blast from the past. I haven't taken the time out to educate Emma Watson on why people hate feminism in quite some time. So this episode was inspired by a few events that have happened recently, kicking off with Conservative MP Dominic Raab running for the leadership of the Conservative Party, and the media asking him this.
Would you describe yourself as a feminist?
No, probably not. But I would describe myself as someone who's a champion of equality and meritocracy.
The London-based media...
Yeah, no shit, because that guy's a reactionary.
...had an absolute fit. And this is the result. And pay attention to the intro to this, if you want to see what I mean when I say it's the London-based media. Good morning, Britain. From London. The very heart of London, in fact, is going to speak to the rest of the country. And we are going to ask you whether it's okay to not be a feminist, which means that we are representing about 9.2% of the women in this country. When we talk about feminism, we describe ourselves as feminists, whereas 91% or so of the country do not.
I think this is all symptomatic of a really worrying trend that's happened recently, whereby we've seen the same recycled bigotry that was thrown at the suffragettes, Germaine Greer, you know, feminists throughout the centuries.
I don't know how many women throughout all of history describe themselves as a feminist. Like, how common is that? Like, what was the percentage of women who were feminists during the suffragette movement, right? I don't know. Like,
but every new wave of feminism that comes along, you have a right-wing lobby trying to discredit it, taking the most extreme.
True. British news channel is based in big British city. Really? Who would have thought?
And most easy to ridicule examples of what a feminist is, trying to undermine equality.
Yes, I totally agree that recently people have been digging up the same old criticisms of feminism that they've always had. Things like, the suffragettes were racist, Germaine Greer is a TERF and a troll, and worthy of...
Why do you care if Germaine Greer is a TERF? You're a transphobe, Sargon! What the fuck do you care?
Platforming from any institution in the land. These are not the same problems. The problem now is in fact one of rampant totalitarianism. Are we even allowed to say that we are not feminists, comrade. But this part is the most scary use of language.
Even if many women don't describe themselves as feminists, most women still hold the belief. True. That is very true.
In my opinion, and I'm so annoyed that nobody else calls this out.
Trying to undermine equality.
One, I didn't think we had equality, and that's why we needed feminism. Two, screw you, I don't have to give up my liberty.
Okay. So, we need feminism because, like, there's still, like, alright, we have to go into some, like, philosophical shit, okay? It's people like Sargon that make people uncomfortable calling themselves feminists regardless of if they hold feminist beliefs or not. True. Yes. So, we have to... I want to explain this, okay? So, you have what's called the patriarchy, right? And the patriarchy essentially means that our culture and our society is driven to... is structured in such a way so as to generally advantage men. And the... It depending, right? So, like, not all men, right? Like, not all men are the tippy top of society, obviously. It is cultural, like, cultural advantage, right? So, that doesn't mean, like, you get your privilege card at the start of your life that lets you go through life easier or whatever, right? Instead, our culture is structured in such a way so as to make men seem more legitimate once they are in positions of power, right? More professional, they look more professional to the culture at large. They're expected to be the breadwinners. They can behave in more obtuse ways and get away with it than women can, etc., etc. These are just some examples, right, of what I can think of off the top of my head, but there's a million other ways. And feminism opposes this. They think there should be parity in how women are seen and how women can behave with like in comparison to how men can do that, right? And third wave feminism, specifically this wave of feminism, has brought LGBTQ issues and trans issues on to the boat, basically, and started advocating for those as well. So feminism is still needed because the cultural and societal structures that are the patriarchy are still there. The patriarchal structure of our society, it still exists. And it disadvantages men, or it disadvantages women, rather, but not only women. It hurts a lot of poor men, specifically, as well. It hurts gay men. It hurts trans women. It hurts trans men. It hurts non-binary people. It hurts everyone who's not just a straight white male, but a straight white, well-off male, right? So like a middle-class straight white male. Those are the people who are most advantaged by the patriarchy, like by this cultural and societal structure. Anyway, moving on.
Because you feel inferior to the people around you. And 3, I'm not a communist. I don't have a moral objection.
And by the way, that is apparently communism.
People being different and not against equality is perfectly acceptable to me because it seems...
Yeah. Sargon's a reactionary. He's pro-patriarchy. He actually thinks like... Yeah. Yeah. It's true. All true.
Seems that some of the worst things in human history have been done in the name of equality.
What have you got against the term feminism?
Like what?
And why can't people like Dominic Raab, why shouldn't they come out and be very supportive of the term?
Because they don't have to be.
Why are you drawing a moral equivalency between feminists today arguing and advocating for their beliefs and whatever the fuck you think terrible thing was done in the name of equality, like the French Revolution or whatever? Because you're morally inept if you think these things are equivalent. Like, your moral compass is that of a fucking rock. Communism is when no differences, yes. We must eliminate all differences. Everyone must become a woman, in fact. We must all be women, okay?
You tyrants. If Dominic Raab finds feminism to be against his value structure, if he finds the things done in feminism's name by feminists to be unfair, which is a perfectly reasonable criticism of a movement that will hold...
No, it's not. I mean, maybe to idiots, yes, but we aren't idiots around here. Yes, he did indeed signal that. He thinks equality bad, okay? Inequality good. He may as well be like a fucking feudalist.
Hold back boys who are born and alive now for the crimes of men who lived hundreds of years ago.
No! Okay. See, when feminists say, hey, our society's a little structured like kind of weirdly, right? It kind of advantages men, right? A certain demographic of men specifically. That is somehow equivalent to punishing men for quote-unquote crimes that happened like whenever, right? Making a critique of our culture and wanting to change our culture somehow is punishing. This is the mind of a reactionary moron.
It is not unreasonable to find feminism to be an unfair movement.
It is, people would.
All of the
I think if you
modern
ask people
feminist
what feminism was, they would say it is essentially about equality.
Well, it's a very...
Yeah, but man, I'm not a communist. Women have the same rights as men now. In fact, arguably, they have more. Women have as much, if not more, self-determination as men do now.
No.
Why would I care beyond this point? When women are essentially free to operate...
Well, because laws are not the only thing that affect people's lives, right? Culture and society and like the way laws are applied and all these different factors come together and affect people's lives as well. Like, laws are not the only thing that can produce outcomes.
World like men, that's our job done. That's the end goal that we thought that you were looking for, achieved. Now you're sitting there going, oh, but equality, equality, equality.
Okay, so do you understand the difference between the waves of feminism? Okay, so first wave feminism had X goal, second wave feminism had Y goal, and now third wave feminism has Z goal, right? It's pretty simple. Like, we create a movement to further the feminist cause, right? Like, within the context of our current time and place.
See, money, 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 this, material goods. I have to reiterate, I am not a communist. But you know
That's
what
not what.
Position...
When did we start talking about material goods? Like, we're not even on the socialist shit right now. We could talk about that later. We're talking about feminism right now. Where did all these material goods come from? Like, third wave feminism is a critique of culture and a critique of society, and it is a fucking advocacy platform for LGBTQ plus like rights and women's like recognition and shit, right? It has nothing to do with like material goods. Like, it's not about communism.
On everything that I've just said is going to be.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the reason that more and more women aren't identifying with the word. That's a tragedy, and it's because of this stereotype that is being pandered by publications like yours and by journalists like you. You know, when I think of the fourth wave feminist, I think of Nimco Ali, who's campaigning to end FGM. I think of Amika George, who's successfully campaigned to end period poverty in schools. I think of Ellen Jones, who's doing so much for women with autism. I think of
Malala Yousafzai.
Malala Yousafzai. Yeah,
as a person with autism myself, that's ultra based.
For women in Pakistan.
Jessica Foster-Q, who wants women in Northern Ireland to be able to choose whether or not they have an abortion. These are the women that represent the movement, but they are never represented by people who want to undermine the movement.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we get to demonstrate something that we can call female privilege.
What?
Of course, she doesn't see the dark underbelly to her dreams of utopia. Of course she doesn't see it, because she is a woman. Feminism is a movement to give her benefits that she has not earned. She is a...
Where did this come from? He just pulled this out of his ass. She was talking about, like, real women's issues in the world today, like in FGM, which for people who don't know, that's female genital mutilation. That's when they hack off the clitoris with a rock when a baby is born, similar to circumcision, but it actually makes the act of having sex either completely not pleasurable to the woman at all, or it makes it actively hurt to have sex. It's a barbaric practice and needs to end, right? So that is somehow conflated in Sargon's mind with wanting material wanting material goods or something.
A beneficiary of the power grab that she is trying to accomplish. And at this point,
it's so made up. It's like not even like I can't even argue against it. That's how made up it is.
Now debating whether it's okay not to be a feminist. Well, this is what it looks like when the feminists take over, say, a Scottish school.
It's right to your opinion. If I am, then why would you kick me out of class? It's not very inclusive of
Could I finish my sentence, please? Not very inclusive. No, I'm sorry, what you were saying was not very inclusive, and this is an inclusive school.
Yeah, how was what I was saying?
Because I was saying that what's wrong with the website is that there are more than one gender in this country.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion, and that is an opinion which is acceptable in the school. I'm afraid you're...
Wait, hold on.
This is an inclusive school.
Yeah, how was what I was saying?
Because I was saying that what's wrong with the website is that there are more than one gender in this country.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion, and that is...
Wait, I'm so confused. What? I can't. It like mumbles or like he shifts the camera and I can't hear what he said. I used to believe women had it good, and it would be nice to be one. But looking back, that constant thought was probably a sign of me. Yeah, maybe. But I'm so, like, what does he say here?
That there are more than one gender in this country.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion.
More than one?
That is an opinion which is acceptable in the school.
Gender?
I'm afraid yours, which you're saying that there's no such thing as anyone other than male or female, is
scientifically there are just two genders.
Oh, okay, so this idiot's a transphobe.
You're choosing to make an issue of this, because I said, are you really going to go? That was your opportunity to keep quiet.
You made the issue with it on the website. You said, oh, this website doesn't have more than two
Murray,
genders.
You were clearly given an opportunity not to pursue it.
No, okay, so I think the teacher is like non-binary accepting, and the idiot who got kicked out of the class isn't. I think is what's happening here, but it keeps shifting around the camera, so it's hard to hear what the guy's saying. So I think that's what's happening.
You chose to do so.
Yeah, because I think it's
You chose to do so. Yes, that's the key question. You chose to do so.
I think it's silly to have anything other than two genders. So.
Yeah, I think it's silly to have anything other than two genders. Well, you're a fucking idiot. Good job. Sit outside the class. I don't care.
Okay.
Nice.
Could you please keep that opinion to your own house? Thank you.
This teacher is ultra based. This guy should get a promotion. In fact, the person who said this, he should be outside the classroom. They should make him sit outside in the rain. He should have to do all of his homework outside in the rain. Yeah, it's just a shitty teenager being shitty.
Not in the
So
school.
you get to put your opinion out in class, and my
Yes, because he's the
not-
teacher.
My opinion has to stay
I
inside
am
my
not
house.
putting my opinion. I am not putting my opinion out. I am stating what is national school authority policy. Okay?
Well, it's not scientific whatsoever.
No, yeah, gender's not a... The gender debate pisses me off so much because we say it all the fucking time, and then we go over this over and over and over again, and they never get it. Oh my god!
Every policy is scientific, Brian. Not every policy is scientific, Murray.
And you can't come out here and say that I'm not being inclusive when someone says
I
something you
didn't say
disagree with. So
I said what you were saying was not being inclusive.
You kicked me out of class. If you want to have a discussion about it, we could have done it. Had a discussion. You don't have to kick me out of class.
I'm
and
sorry,
waste
but
30 minutes of my time, where I could have been down revising, doing something else. Instead, I state something I believe in. You kick me out of class for 30 minutes. And I'm
Good.
getting on the
Take this somewhere else, Murray. You can make an official complaint.
I'm not
Please
going to
do.
make an official complaint.
Why not?
I just think it's.
I know what you think.
Do it.
And I know
Make
what
an official
the
complaint.
authority thinks. I know what the authority's point of view.
Well, I know
it's
what science
very
thinks.
very clear that we make no discrimination on the grounds of various.
I wasn't making discrimination. I'm simply saying there are two genders, male and female.
Yeah.
Anything else is a personal identification.
I'm sorry, but you chose to make an issue of making a point which is contrary to policy.
You
right?
made the issue.
It's honestly like watching an episode of Chernobyl, isn't it? It's like
No,
something
it's
that
not.
would have happened in the Soviet Union.
No, it's
to
not.
this teacher, the authority dictates truth, even if it isn't scientific, and they seem to get really upset when you point that out.
Because-
you
no.
could have just kept your mouth shut. You should have just sat there and been quiet.
Yeah.
This is
Based.
not a tyrannical regime, comrade. And what's it over? It's over whether there are two genders or more than two genders.
True.
These are our schools in which this
Yes.
nonsense is being forced into kids' heads, and they're being tyrannized if they question it. Even if I thought their goals were
Okay.
admirable, which I actually...
So I remember in school, you just yeah. So I remember a kid who was raised in like a fundamentalist Christian household who argued with a science teacher about evolution, and the science teacher kicked him out of the class because it turns out the classroom isn't a place to debate your stupid bullshit. And guess what? My science teacher was right to kick him out of the class. He was absolutely correct. Oops, I fucking dropped my mouse. Fuck! I'm so pissed. Yeah.
Don't. It is inconceivable to me that this can be tolerated, because I don't think that men and women need to be equal in material terms. I do think they both need to be free. And treating someone the way that this teacher is treating this student because of his fear of the feminist authorities' opinion on gender is intolerable to me.
The feminist Gestapo
It seems really
coming
unfair
to
from my point of view. And I'm not alone in noticing the
doing that?
tyrannical
Stop
nature
it.
of
There we go.
feminism.
Michael on Twitter says feminism seems to be an ugly word these days, and many feminists seem to be dictating to other women what they can do and demonising men in the process.
If you have that conception of feminism, you're a fucking idiot. I've been debating my teacher so much. Well, sometimes if it's debate is like debatable, and the teacher wants to have it, then that's one thing. Yeah, exactly. The plausible deniability. Yeah.
It doesn't seem to stand for equality anymore, rather than select what it wants.
And what it seems to want is revenge against men.
No.
Is that the problem?
It's
That
nothing to do
actually
with revenge.
that perhaps Dominic Raab and others
This is
don't
projection.
want to say they are feminists because they think that that means you're anti-men.
I do love the way that that presenter tries to put a brave face on that. Well, it just seems to be that way because of these feminists who seem to hate men. And they get a mistaken impression of it because, honestly, we don't really hate men. But men have been oppressing women for all of human history. And it is justified to hate your oppressors. And you must always punch up. And because men are oppressing women...
It is justified to hate your oppressors. And under, like, modern third-wave feminism, not every man is the oppressor. The oppressor is, like, the cultural environment we live in, at least in terms of this specific intersection of like, oppression, right? Like, because we have other types of oppression, too. There's class oppression, there's, racial oppression and all that kind of stuff, but that's different, right? That's a different intersection. Pog. Yeah.
Women all the time are always punching up. So it actually doesn't matter. You actually can't be sexist to men. Just so you know. So let me tell you how we should hashtag kill all men. I wonder where people got the impression that feminists hate men from.
It's not just
Okay. Well, yeah. The suffering is the point. They don't fucking care. Like, conservatives, they don't care about, like, the things we do. We care about, like, liberating people and making people free and making people, like, equal in terms of, like, power structures and all that kind of shit. We care about happiness and good outcomes and all that kind of shit and try to maximize those things. Conservatives don't. They care about nothing. They have no principles. In fact, they are self-interested, and that's it. What the why did my mouse keep disconnecting? Fucking hell.
Dominic Raab. He
No,
represents
exactly,
the majority of
yes,
women
yeah,
in this
yeah.
case, right? Most women don't want to identify with this because if you are a free thinker, I'm attacked for publications like mine. My publication actually breaks down statistically what the gender pay gap is in the UK. And if you take job and age into account, women are doing very, very well compared to their male counterparts. But goodness forbid I say that.
And the thing is, that isn't even the half of it. As a consequence,
I would have to look
the
into some
feminist takeover
data
of society and the weighting of the scales, the deliberate placing of the thumb on the scales in favor of women, young women are now out-earning young men. That is, until they hit their 30s and presumably decide that they want to start a family. Something that a Labour MP called Stella Creasy decided to complain about in The Guardian this week, saying that she's forced to choose between being a mum and an MP. Oh, the horror. A woman has a choice. I thought that's what you wanted as feminists. And apparently conservative...
No, what she means is that she's going to have to give up her job to be a mother. Like, there's not enough, like, there's not enough room in her life to be both an MP and a mother. Whereas, like, there could be changes in policy or something that would allow that to happen, or she wouldn't have to give up her job. But, whatever.
Politicians who should be in opposition to Stella Creasy just agree. Yeah, why not? Why not give a woman a benefit that a man cannot have with regards to taxpayer money in Parliament? Why not? Surely that's what we call equality, comrade. It's equality.
It's so funny to me that he thinks the Tories are repping feminist policies. That thing that, like, the tax benefits that don't benefit fathers but benefit mothers, that is a feminist issue. Feminists believe in paid paternity leave too. That fathers shouldn't have to choose between their job and their children. The Tories don't. The Tories don't believe that at all. Because the Tories are sexist.
When mainstream normie papers like The Sun say that young men are losing the battle of the sexes, and that might be a problem because that might affect women. Women are going to be worried and ashamed that they're out earning their husbands and boyfriends. Oh God, equality has hurt them because it has...
Isn't that an indictment of exactly what feminists are talking about? That yeah, he is trying really hard to it's really obnoxious. But that's an indictment of the very thing that feminists talk about our culture and society, that women have been programmed, like, from birth to believe that their husbands or boyfriends are supposed to be the breadwinners, and that if they go out on their own initiative and become and out earn their boyfriend or husband, that's something they should be like embarrassed or ashamed of. That's an indictment. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what we mean.
Advantaged them over the men. Be careful what you wish for, I guess. You just might get it. But the thing is, we don't care about the mass of men at the bottom of society who are actually failing, who are actually falling...
Comrade Sargon, I do. You do not. I care about the men at the bottom of society. I care about the women, the non-binary people, the trans people, the fucking gay people. I don't care about everyone, okay? I care about the straight, the cis, the heterosexual, the homosexual, the trans, all of them. I care about them. You do not. It is the left who cares about men at the bottom of society, not you. You do not. You founded a fucking far-right ass party. Did he found it, or did he just... He ran for parliament, right? What did he run for? He ran for office and failed miserably under UKIP, which is like a fucking crazy, like, far-right nationalist party. This video was published in 2019, by the way. So, but it's the left who... at the very least the SOCDEMs, but certainly the socialists who have those people's best interests at heart. You do not.
Behind and being systematically disadvantaged because there are some men who are not at the bottom yet.
The most recent statistic shows that the 10,000 companies that have submitted their salaries to a public inquiry, around 10,000 companies, 8,000 of them, there was a significant difference in the median pay between men and women. Now, you might argue that it's illegal to pay two people doing the same job a different salary, but we need to ask why, as a society, we are devaluing the work that is generally done by women. That's the real question to be asked with the gender pay gap.
The gender pay gap is one of the most cited examples of how women are being systematically disadvantaged in comparison to men, i.e. oppressed. However, as that feminist idiot just explained to you, in the nature and the way, the framing of her question, she...
Yes! Okay, so I've already kind of explained this like a million fucking times, but third wave feminism is about the culture and like the societal structure that we exist in today. And Sargon is about to say, well, women's work is less valuable. But why? What about that? What about women's work is less valuable, Sargon?
Fundamentally does not understand what's happening. Why is women's work being valued as less than men's? The answer is, it isn't. They get paid the same for the same work.
Incorrect. This has been demonstrated a million times, by the way. The wage gap has been conclusively proven across like almost the entire Western world. I think like Finland and like Norway, they do really well in this regard. They've pretty much closed the gap there, which is good. And there's a few other places, but in general in America, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, like there is a gender pay gap, and it's been pretty conclusively proven. Because even when you take into account all the factors that people like, so I forget, this has been so long. It was like 2016, but when you like the purported gender wage gap was like X. We'll say it was like, for the sake of argument, we'll say it was like 20 cents, right, on the dollar. I don't remember what the actual figure was back then, but we'll go with that for right now. And then idiots like Sargon would come along and be like, well, did you take into account like the negotiating for different wages and blah 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 blah, and then like we would like, then you would factor in all that shit, it would drop to like 8 cents, but it's still a wage gap. There's still an unaccounted for wage gap, and they would never be able to explain where the rest of that wage gap comes from. And not to mention the type of jobs that women do being like less valuable jobs. That's also like largely cultural, because it's not like, because what jobs do men like go into disproportionately to their population, right? That'd be like construction worker jobs, but construction workers don't get paid that much. So there's a gap in women CEOs and like women like STEM fields, specifically science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You know, those types of fields. Our society tends to discourage women from going into those fields through a variety of cultural cultural forces, and those fields tend to be quite high paying. I got a notification on my phone. What the hell? Vosh? Damn it, Vosh! Why do you have to be live? Anyway. So, what was I saying? Yeah, but then you get, for example, in Finland, I believe that's where the study was done. Debate Vosh. Alright, bet. So, for example, in Finland, you had, they originally did the, what's it called? They did a study, right, in Finland, where it was like, where Finland did all these policies to try to encourage women to go into STEM fields. And then one study found that less women went into STEM fields after these policies, or that there's something to do with the wage gap. Like the wage gap increased after this. But then, yes, Voss texted me. But then a follow-up study to this failed to replicate that data, found that the wage gap had basically been closed in Finland, and that the original study gathered their data in a significantly flawed way. So what we've learned from this is that policies to encourage women to go into STEM fields, and hopefully creating a more egalitarian culture, a more encouraging culture for women to go into these fields, these things work. Women can go into these fields and do just as well as men can, and we can close the gender wage gap with the right policies.
So the question is, how much work do they do? Well, we know, since the year 2000, in the UK, women have, on average, per week, done about 34 hours of work. Equal work to men, who do, on average, since the year 2000, around 39 hours.
Yes, but this doesn't account for the wage gap. This is already factored in. So, he said that so boldly for something that was totally incorrect.
That women do. Nothing the feminists are saying is legitimate. And
except it is. You're just incorrect. Like, you're just wrong. That was already factored into the gender, wage gap studies. Like, they already accounted for that, because they're not fucking idiots. Like, you, Sargon, are an idiot. So, like, it takes you a second to think of these things. The people who did the study, to do these studies, those are not idiots. He's only measuring hours. Yes. The wage gap is on an hourly basis already, Sargon. It's like, what was it? Like fucking 16 cents. 16 cents on average per hour, Sargon. It was already in hours. It was already factored in. Fucking dumbass. How did you write this script and fucking publish this? You're an idiot, Wraith. A fucking moron, dude. A total fucking idiot. He actually fucking thinks. Oh my god. I don't even know what the fuck to say. I do not even know what the fuck to say.
Our country is in thrall to feminist ideology. In the schools, on the television, in the government. They all parrot this bullshit. It's not true. Any of it. It's a fiction. And it appears to be a fiction that is held in place.
That's super ironic for
tyranny.
someone who didn't fucking...
It is not right.
Who didn't even think.
Media mafia.
Hold on. He's saying all this hyperbolic language to like say that we need to like use this like these hyper authoritarian tactics to keep our truth in order or something like that. The person who didn't even realize that he just like women work less hours than men, so their hourly wage gap is accounted for by that. The person who wrote that in a script, edited this video, and then published it, all without realizing how crazily fucking stupid that is. This person. Fuck Sargon, dude. What a fucking pseudo, dude. He's such a pseudo-intellectual, dude. Like, people think this fucking person is fucking intelligent. And then, here we go. Right here. Look. Can we get... I fucking wish we got the literally 1984 emotes around here. No. There's no way. Like... I can believe... No, I can believe he had to have not edited the script. I can believe he made that mistake like on the first run through, but there's no way he like looked over the script and then well, no shit. British people are stupid. Their whole like culture is trying to basically sound smart. All British people are dumb, okay? By the way, this channel right here, Tom Nicholas, is really good. You should all you should check it out. And H Bomber Guy, both of them, really good. That is cute. Like I'm so. I don't even know what to say beyond this point. Like, Sargon just fucking, like, tries his best to sound smart and then says stuff that is, like, objectively and completely, utterly bereft of IQ. There's all of the IQ has left the building when Sargon walks in, okay? It's all gone. He eats it all. Oh, lovelies. Big yawn. Makes me, like, want to fucking, like, explode, okay? Yeah, I want to... He has negative IQ. Yeah, he's an IQ black hole. The second a Sargon video goes... Like, I can feel... my IQ points just going down by the second as I watch Sargon. Yeah. It's bad. It makes me want to, like, you know, commit Minecraft. Yeah. What's next? Yeah, I know. Oh wait, this is Discord. You guys can't see that. People join my server and then they leave. They get scared by Flower. The stream has a dislike on it. Well, joke's on them because dislikes are functionally the same thing as likes. Wait, does it seriously? Hold on. Wait, what? Who? Who wants to debate me tomorrow? And on what? What's the topic? Pedro the Second. He's a lib. So you have plenty of things. Well, keep. When people want to debate, they have to bring a topic to debate on. Okay. They have to come to me and be like, "Yo, I think socialism is stupid because of X, Y, and Z," and I'll be like, "Okay." It was the one remaining Razor Fist fan. And also, why tomorrow and not today? This is BS. Why are we teasing everyone with a debate tomorrow? The people want blood. Unfortunate. Is this one of your liberal friends, Wraith? Okay. Anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to say, if you guys are watching, make sure you hit follow or subscribe, depending on which platform you're watching on. Yeah, I want blood today, too. Make sure you hit like if you're on YouTube, and share the stream around. Have your friendos come and hang out with us. We got the chill vibes going. What the hell? No, just Discord notifications. Socialism versus capitalism. Oh boy, yippee! I've had this fucking debate so many times now. Alright, sure. Sounds like a plan. I mean, you guys are in charge of that, okay? By the way, the Matt Walsh Gay BC's segment will be up on Wednesday. It's scheduled for Wednesday. The conversation between me and Harry is already up today, and I'll see about clipping out some more segments from that stream and from possibly this stream, depending on what happens. I'm not in those servers either, alright? I mean, I am, but I'm not going into those servers because that would be cancer. Wait, I can't say that. Shit! Like all of the videos, guys. Like them all. It gives me notifications on Twitch when people follow, but it doesn't give me notifications if people subscribe on YouTube, which sucks. Like, I could see it on Streamlabs, but you guys won't be able to see it. I don't think. So you guys want to see something cool, actually? So, in this world, right? All right, this is the Templin Institute, which is it's a YouTube channel that like does short essays basically on factions and on people and on like alternate like universes and stuff, all from like fiction and stuff. So this video, it's about Iron Harvest. Yeah, so this video is about Iron Harvest, which is a really cool RTS game that came out at some point. I think at the beginning of this year or the beginning of last year. I don't remember, but it's an RTS game where you play where it's like World War One. It's like an alternate reality World War One, where they come like what's it called? Like the all of the powers are kind of different. The countries are different. Like instead of Germany, you have the Empire of Saxony, and the United States is the Federal Republic of Usonia. Russia is instead the Rus-Viet Union. So yeah, and like they came up with like all these mechs and airships and like all this cool shit, and it's pretty sick. Here, I'll give you guys a little taste.
This investigation is sponsored by
See,
King Art Games.
This is some of the fan art, or not fan art, the concept art. So you got these Saxon soldiers, and I don't know what faction this mech here is from, but they have like these cool like steampunk mechs. Yeah, Rus-Viet.
Games.
Might be the Rus-Viet Union, I don't know.
Change was once slow to arrive across Europa.
Oh, and Europe is called Europa, too.
In the fields, generations of peasants worked the land in much the same manner as their parents and grandparents, and expected the lives of their children to be little different. When change did come, it was at the privilege of the aristocracy, those with the money or time to embrace new ideas. But with the dawn of the industrial age, the time of stagnation was over. All across the continent, new machines.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a.
On the continent is the nation that embraced it.
So check this shit out. Doesn't that look sick? It's like this steampunk sort of like mecha shit.
It industrialized at a rate that far outstripped that of any of its rivals, and many of its leaders began to see the nation itself as one great mechanism. A vast machine of blood, oil, and steel that if finely tuned and set in motion.
It's got the fucking like Gatling guns and shit. Say, I might buy this game so we can play it on stream. I don't know. Like at some point, like maybe tomorrow, I'll buy it and we'll try it out. Because I've been really wanting to get this game. Because it just looks sick. Like look at these. This is all rendered in game, by the way. This is gameplay.
Would ensure a sacred place in the sun would be eternally reserved for the Empire of Saxony. That the Saxon Empire was so eager to embrace industrialization,
yeah,
where others wavered, speaks to the vigor and excitement within the nation. While many of its ruling dynasties can trace their history through centuries of European history, the empire itself is a relatively young nation. One that has only...
Yeah, it does look cool. It looks super sick. Here, let me see if we can find some more. Let me find some more concept art here. Check this out. And that's, I think, one of the airships that they have in the back right there. It's called Iron Harvest. And it's only on Steam. Like, it's only on PC. It's an like all RTS games are basically only on PC. But here. Let's see if we can find some gameplay. Here goes the preview, I guess. Oh!
Iron Harvest's single-player campaign is bursting.
So this is the actual gameplay.
As though the developers at King Art Games looked back fondly at the mid-2000s heyday of the RTS and said, "We can do that." While this stylish alternate history game might not have pinnacle graphics and sound, Iron Harvest represents something that has become all too rare for fans of the RTS.
I know. Okay, and seriously, that's true. Okay, RTS games are like gone. They're like extinct. So when this game came out, like this game dropped, or like when this game was announced, rather, I was so excited because I played like Command and Conquer. I played Supreme Commander. I played StarCraft. Like I love RTS games, but this game. Like after that like era, like they were gone. Like there was no RTS games anymore. And then this game fucking was announced, and I was like, oh my god, that looks sick.
I've played in years.
A bear! A bear! Do you see the bear cub?
Iron Harvest is filled with unabashedly, nonsensically cool stuff for nerds. The
True.
Setting of 1920 plus.
Also, wait, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Is this Stalin? Is it just me, or is that Stalin? Look at this guy. It was Stalin on a horse.
The brilliant setting of 1920 plus is an alternate history where the development of auto machine technology revolutionizes the world with diesel power.
How do RTS games work? Okay. So it's real-time strategy, basically. So if we go back, we'll find. Okay, so this is how you play the game, right? Basically. So you have these units here, these men. You got these. You got some infantry here, and you got these mechs, and you get these buildings, right? And you use the resources in the game. Yeah, the old footage is pretty epic. Use the resources in the game, whatever they are, to buy the buildings, which you build. And then out of those buildings, you will recruit or build units. And these units, you will then command them to go and, like, if we go back a little bit farther, you will then command them to go back, or to go around and to fight whoever your enemy is. So you see he's ordering around the units there.
Represents something that has become all too rare for fans of the RTS, and it's the best single-player RTS campaign I've played in years.
So yeah.
To secure resource points across a broad front. Then
So,
to keep it's
hold
less doggedly tactical and has more strategic emphasis. It's more modern than classic.
There we go.
With minimal base building. Though engineers can build emplacements and
I would recommend you get, I think for the Xbox store, it probably has Red Alert 3, which is really good. Okay, so it depends on what you want. So the Red Alert series of the Command & Conquer games, it's like the side series, basically. It's a parallel timeline, but it's more like the over-the-top satirical sort of dealio. It's super, like, it doesn't take itself very seriously at all. It's very funny and very fun too. Like, it's just as fun as the normal Command & Conquer. But in the normal Command & Conquer, that's like an alternate history where, well, they're both alternate history, but the normal Command & Conquer is kind of the more serious. It takes itself more seriously. It's more of an actual narrative. So in the normal Command & Conquer, you basically in the 1990s, this meteor comes down and lands in the Tiber River in Italy, right outside Rome. And this meteor was carrying this thing, this green crystal, which would self-replicate and like absorb nutrients out of the ground to keep replicating itself, and they called it Tiberium. And Tiberium is like this, it can be used to make energy, and it can also be used to make mineral or make metal, because what it does is it sucks the valuable metal out of the ground to replicate itself. So it's not only a source of energy, but also a source of those metals. So it became an extremely valuable resource. And you had this faction called the Brotherhood of Nod. And the Brotherhood of Nod was basically this... before the meteor arrived, the Brotherhood of Nod functioned as like a secret society that would buy up a lot... Like, would use like front organizations and shadow corporations to like buy up shit in the Third World, particularly along the equator. Then when Tiberium arrived, Tiberium would spread the most quickly around the equator, almost like it was planned like that. And the Brotherhood of Nod became like this weird amalgamation of, like, you had the original secret society, which was led by this guy whose his name is Cain, and that's it. That's just his name. He's named Cain, and Cain basically became the figurehead for a religion, the head of state for a state which was also run by said religion, and also like the supreme commander of like this immense military force. And the Brotherhood of Nod would fight against what was called the Global Defense Initiative, which is essentially an evolution of NATO. And they would like there's like all these cool like technologies and stuff. And eventually, during the one that's on the PlayStation Store, a third faction was introduced. About halfway through that game, Cain tricks the GDI into using their global or orbital ion cannon to detonate this large liquid Tiberium like deposit, which creates this absolutely massive explosion, which signals to an alien civilization that basically that catalyst, that explosion, was usually a sign for that alien civilization that planet was ready to harvest. They would come in and harvest all the Tiberium. But Cain engineered circumstances so that explosion happened much, much earlier than it would normally would have, in an attempt to lure the aliens to Earth. So the aliens come to Earth. So the aliens are called the Skrin, and they're pretty fucking sick. They have like tripods and like these cool warships that like send out these drones that like fire lasers. The Brotherhood of Nod has like these giant bipedal war mechs. The GDI has these massive tanks called the Mammoth Tank. and they each have like super units and stuff too. It's very, very fun. I recommend, like, personally for me, because I like the more serious narrative. Don't get me wrong, that it has a sense of humor too. Like, it's not bereft of any humor in that. In the mainstream, like, or the mainline Command and Conquer. It's but it's a little bit more serious, so I like it a lot more than Red Alert. But they're both fun. You can play either or. But this, I think, maybe tomorrow, I will have bought this game, and we can give it a try.
Fortifications. The two resources, iron and oil, come from capturing and upgrading income structures on the map. It's clearly inspired by Company of Heroes, but it's less doggedly tactical and has more strategic emphasis. The strategy is a balance of attack and defense. First, to secure resource points across a broad front, then to keep them upgraded, repaired, and defended. You spend most of your attention figuring out which units you need to counter the enemy's composition, building them, and directing them into combat. I came to really value units like this big soda can on legs, also known as the Polonian...
Dude, wait, do you see that?
It's like this big soda can.
It does a
legs,
bayonet charge.
Also known as the Polonian Schmally light mech, because it's a fast, long-range defender. Or the Saxonian Isengrim crab tank, because it's tough and doesn't need too much attention while I micromanage elsewhere. Countering the enemy is important, because one of Iron Harvest's problems is the basic way in which it balances combat. The tactical landscape isn't complex enough. Though it's a much more prevalent issue in multiplayer, fighting between unit types can feel a bit too much like rock, paper, scissors. So there's not much...
Yeah, that's a lot of RTS games. A lot of RTS games suffer from this, the rock, paper, scissors thing. And a lot of RTS games, like, built it into how they, like, balance their, balance their unit rosters. So you had, like, there was two games that come to mind right off the bat, which you could probably find both of these on the Xbox Store, Havoc. So you had Ruse, which was a World War II strategy game, and then you had Tom Clancy's End War. And both of these tried their best to build in the rock, paper, scissors elements into the game. So, like, for End War, you had four, but you had three types of vehicles, right? You had APCs, helicopters, and tanks. Tanks would destroy APCs, APCs would destroy helicopters, and helicopters would destroy tanks. And it made it really simplistic and kind of not... It wasn't very complex, I don't think. And Ruse kind of had the same thing with... But for Ruse, it was a little bit better because the sheer amount of all the different types of units that would be on the battlefield. In Ruse, you had like fighter bomber aircraft that would take out tanks very easily, but at the same time, you had anti-aircraft guns, you had artillery. Well, End War also had artillery, but it was kind of useless. But you would also be able to, in Ruse, you'd be able to stealth your units and your base and stuff. So that created, and you also had a whole bunch of other different types of abilities that you could use to change up like the dynamic of the battle. It was Ruse, I think, was one of the most fun RTS games I think I've ever played. It was really, really good. But yeah, that's Iron Harvest. I think we might give it a try tomorrow. But we'll see. Do we have any Chud videos? Okay. Here, we can do this. Jesus Christ, 34 minutes long? What the fuck is this? Yeah. Ruse as in, like, you know, a trick. Or like a... You know, like a sleight of hand. Like that. It was all a ruse. R-U-S-E. So, yeah. A million? A million what? What? I'm confused. Oh, this is the guy I'm debating tomorrow? My channel's bigger than his. Let's go.
Vosh has made a few videos on Israel in response to the recent events happening between Israel and Palestine. In these videos, Vosh makes factually inaccurate claims, misses the context of decisions made by Israel, and overall shows his complete ignorance of the situation at hand and the broader conflict between Israel and Palestine, as well as Zionism in general. In this video, I want to correct the things that he says and add the needed context as required to paint an accurate picture of Israel. Before I start this video, I want to clarify the fact that I think Israel has done wrong things, and criticism of Israel is good and necessary when they actually do bad things. The problem is that Vosh criticizes Israel in a manner that is inaccurate, and I want to make this video in order to correct the things he says.
Ongoing clashes began on the 6th of May between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police over a planned decision of the Supreme Court of Israel regarding evictions of Palestinians in Sheikh Jarrah, East Jerusalem.
The start of the Wikipedia article that Vosh reads goes over the eviction of Sheikh Jarrah, which does sound bad, without context, of course. In 1948, Jordan had seized Sheikh Jarrah and had ethnically cleansed the Jewish people off the land and seized their property. When Israel regained control of Sheikh Jarrah in 1967, they had to decide what to do with these properties that Jordan had stolen the titles from the Jews and gave to Palestinians. Despite these titles being stolen based on the forcible takings in a war of aggression and the ethnic cleansing of Jewish people, they still respected the titles that were stolen from Jews. Where title had never been transferred, though, Israel returned the properties to the rightful owners. What is happening in Sheikh Jarrah has little to do with ethnicity or religion. It is simply an ordinary case of private disputes between two parties. There have been court cases being fought on this for decades now, and in every court case, the courts have ruled in favor of the owners. The latest lawsuit ruled that 4 of the 8 defendants who were simply squatters who had no legal right to the land, and the remaining 4 defendants were descendants of tenants who never had to pay rent. Despite this, Israel has given protected tenant status to these squatters and leaseholders, so as long as they paid rent, which they have refused to do. Disputes like these between two private entities are completely normal, and Sheikh Jarrah is just another manufactured controversy that seeks to perpetuate Jordan's ethnic cleansing with the deal of protecting human rights. It's just blatant anti-Semitic propaganda coming from people who want to delegitimize.
See, I can't really comment on this too much.
Which coincided with the holiday of Laylat al-Qadir and Jerusalem Day, has injured more than 300 people, mostly Palestinian civilians.
I assume this is about the raid on the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which was justified given the context. In response to the events in Sheikh Jarrah, a group of rioters decided to use the Al-Aqsa Mosque to throw rocks and Molotovs at officers, which are both lethal. In response, the officers used rubber bullets, tear gas, and stun grenades, all of which are non-lethal and are just simply used to disperse violent crowds.
On the 9th of May, Israeli police stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Okay, so do you cite a source for this? In the description, maybe? Sources, here we go. It'd be great if you labeled them better. Okay, so some constructive criticism here. When you label your sources, label them for what, especially because you give no mention in the video as to which source is which. I guess maybe they're in order, but I don't know. Label them with what claim they're being sourced to, right? I don't know if he's watching this. But yeah. Gun Girl? Who the hell's Gun Girl? Sure. Oh, is that Boo Boo Bennett? No, I don't want to watch Boo Boo Bennett, but sure. Okay.
We do have a little bit of a problem. We just have to stop always putting race in the mix. It can be out.
Okay.
Do you think then they should take off Black Lives Matter on the road?
Yeah, there is a third person on Twitch who's not following. Imagine finding this glorious Twitch channel and not following. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's see.
Right there, if we want to get rid of dividing races or picking one out of things, should we get rid of the Black Lives Matter?
No? Not yet, no. I do believe all lives matter, but I do believe in the end, until you fully understand there's a problem with the black community, then no lives matter.
True. Based. Ultra based. I wouldn't have worded it like that, but that's the sentiment there is true. Imagine. Yeah, imagine. Imagine.
As you guys can see, as I promised you, we were back out on the road, doing interviews, talking to people, but I need you guys to support me at patreon.com.
Man, I wish I could live at the beach, man.
Security costs.
That'd be cool.
And just be able to bring you awesome content. You can support my work there, patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett.
Hey,
Asian boy.
What's your name?
My name's Caitlin. What's your name?
Katrina.
Asian?
We
Wait.
don't even say, oh, the black girl over there with the hat. Oh yeah, her with the strut. Like, no.
Yeah, this white girl with the 100 SPF because she burns so easily. And just be able to bring you awesome content. You can support my work there, patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett.
Hey,
Asian boy.
What's your name?
Asian boy? What was that about?
My name's Caitlin. What's your name?
Katrina. We don't even say, oh, the black girl over there with the hat. Oh yeah, her with the strut. Like, no.
Yeah, this white girl with the 100 SPF because she burns so easily. We don't say that.
Let's just stop saying that so it won't be a problem anymore. That's
True.
where we have to try to fix it within ourselves too, because we do have a little bit of a problem. We just have to stop always putting race in the mix. It can be out.
Do you think then they should take off Black Lives Matter on the road
So,
right there? If we
wait,
wanna get rid of
was fucking Poo Poo Bennett over here fucking, like, being racist in this fucking, this woman over here? I forget what they said her name was. Katrina? She noticed? She heard? Is that what happened here? Is that the context that the editor leaves out?
dividing races or picking one out of things. Should we get rid of the Black Lives Matter? No?
Not yet, no.
But we're talking about we don't want to, separate based on the races.
I know, but we still have to get to that point. But like I said, until we both come to the understanding that Black lives does matter because of all the stuff that they've been through, and let it be known that it is a problem. It never went away. Until that is acknowledged, then all lives matter. You see what I'm saying? Then all that can come off once that is finally acknowledged. That
you don't think in America in 2020 that you don't think everyone agrees that Black Lives Matter, that humans? Do you think
no, people like you exist, Boo Boo Bennett.
Honestly, I believe all white lives matter. I do believe that.
Do you think America as a whole would agree with you that white lives matter just like Black lives matter? Because if you take a poll...
No.
You don't think so?
No. Not all Americans would believe.
No, they would believe white lives matter, sure.
I do believe America is
that was the
based
question.
on white. It's the truth. You guys are the dominant. And sorry, take that back. Don't need to say you guys, but the dominant, like...
Are we
True.
dominant, or are we the majority of a skin color? Because when you say we're dominant, you're
I don't think
implying
they-
that we have...
I don't think whites are actually the majority. I think they're just a plurality. Let's look this up. But I can't swear to that. No, not SSC. Of the U.S. Can I get a pie graph? I like pie graphs. What the hell? Hold on. No, I guess we are. Okay. But not forever. Check this out. 2045 is it projected to be the tipping point where other racial identities, or other racial groups rather, will surpass. Yeah, I was wrong too. Okay, it's fine. I didn't quite remember. But yeah, it will be roughly 2045 is the tipping point, right? So yeah, there we go. PLM versus facts.
Dominance over people, which is not true. I don't believe in systemic racism.
Incorrect.
I don't think there's a police brutality problem against people.
Yeah,
of
that's
color
because
in
you're an
America.
idiot.
That's statistically not true. It's not happening.
No!
And we can dive into that, but if we look at the statistics and we look at the crime rates and we look at who is being brutalized by the police, it's not a racial problem.
I don't agree with you at that at all.
Do you mind if I take 10 seconds to try to change your mind?
No. Don't.
So, 13.
Knowledge.
Yes.
Knowledge is power.
So,
Oh my god, is she about to 1350? Is she about to 1350 at the black? Oh my god. Tell me. No, tell me. Is she about to 1350?
Lives Matter and their mission statement and everything about, so with everything going on, and I'm sure I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you believe with the Black Lives Matter movement, there's probably a police brutality problem within the black community, right? You think they're a target?
Well, not just like not just that, but like in general.
Just the reality is how many black people are in jail right now, in prison. Look at that number.
Okay. Let's talk about how many unarmed black men were shot in 2019 by the police, shot and killed.
Okay, but police brutality is more than just getting shot by the police.
How many men?
With everything going on, it's painted on our streets, there's riots happening, there's protests happening. Would you think that number is substantial? Because we're just talking about it nonstop. Black Lives Matter, police brutality.
Okay,
Put
no.
a number on it.
It's the Black Lives Matter is about like the relationship between the police and black people, right? The reason they rally around and like the protests get heated when an unarmed black man gets shot is because that's the epitome of the problem. That's the like if you could view the problem as a pyramid, like at the bottom of the pyramid you have like the fucking cops who like pull over black men more often than they pull over anyone else, right? But then you go up the pyramid and then you get like into the beatings and stuff, right? And the racial profiling when it comes to more serious crimes, not just like traffic violations and shit. Then all the way at the tippy top of the pyramid, the worst problem. It doesn't happen as often as the rest, but it's the worst because it results in people's deaths. That's when police are shooting unarmed black men, right? It doesn't have to be this widespread, like that aspect of it doesn't have to be this widespread thing because it's the top of the pyramid, right? It's a whole bunch of different like problems ranging from the innocuous to just pulling over like black men so you could search their car, right? Because you quote-unquote smell weed, right? Then it goes all the way up to the tippy top to the worst, like, actualization of the problem.
Yeah. What would you guess? What range?
I wouldn't know. I would just say it's a good number because in the end, it doesn't even matter about the number. The reality is, if you just felt threatened and this person was unarmed, and you didn't follow procedure and went ahead and shoot him, I'm sorry.
True.
Because of his color. That's how I feel.
I think the numbers do matter because when we look at the
numbers, yeah, of course.
That 9 unarmed.
Yeah, that response was also kind of good. Like I also like that response.
Black men were shot and killed by the police. All came back justified except for 2, and the officers were held accountable for that. So if you would like more interactions like these,
that's not an argument. They find all kinds of bullshit justified, okay? They find all kinds of bullshit justified. That's not an argument to me. It may as well, like, it's like they came back justified. It's like, I don't fucking care. I would have to look at the case, like, myself, because I don't trust it. Like, because, like, these cases are often significantly biased towards the police, like in favor of the police. So that's like a nothing statement to me.
And behind the scenes footage of how we got here, that's actually the first people we talked to. You can go to libertyhangout.tv right now to support my work to keep coming out here and trying to show these people what the truth is. But look at them right there. She has her phone in her hand. I hope she's looking up what systemic racism is. She'll find out it doesn't.
If she looked up systemic racism, she would find something that definitely exists. Maybe, Boo Boo Bennett, maybe you should look up what systemic racism is. Okay? Okay, so like alright, well, I'll explain actually, because I don't know who's watching right now. If you're new here, we'll explain, alright? So systemic racism is essentially when our system, our political and economic system, right? The systemic part, when that is producing racially biased outcomes. So, let's imagine for a second then that that in a perfectly equal society, we had a perfectly equal society, right? Everything was like everyone started at an level playing field. Everyone like, you know, had what they like it was all an equal starting spot, right? Like there was no other like extenuating factors at all. So what percentage of the population would you expect to be in what percentage of the prison population rather would you expect to be black? The answer is actually already in chat, funnily enough. Here, we can... Do I still have this up? Yeah, I do. It's by state. Sure, whatever. Right there. That's our answer. In a perfectly equal society, that's what we would expect. But that's not what we see. Whoops. Oh, was I not typing? Whoop. See, there's a discrepancy here, okay? 12.5% of the population versus 38.5% of the prison population, okay? So what does that tell us? Well, that could be one of two things, right? There's only two possible explanations for this. And the first one is that black people are somehow genetically predisposed to committing crime and getting arrested. But science doesn't bear that out at all. It just doesn't. That explanation just does not explain anything because we have not found that gene, right? So the other explanation is that there's a set of socioeconomic factors that affect black people specifically so as to increase their crime rate. Which would result in this, that per capita, like percentage-wise, they make up more of the prison population than one would expect given their population. This is systemic racism. There is sets of socioeconomic factors having to do with our system, right? Our social and political and economic system that generates racially biased outcomes. And this goes in the other direction as well. We can look at Asian people, right? Only 1.5% of the population. Whereas in 2020, they are 5% of the population. That is because Asian people, when they immigrate from from their countries of origins. They are immigrating as somewhat wealthy, well-educated people coming to America to fill particularly the tech industry, but multiple other industries as well, fill higher paying jobs, right? So they end up generally as part of the middle class, right? Whereas black people, who generally aren't, like, the amount of black people immigrating nowadays is much, much lower than for example, the Hispanic population. Black people generally are just descendants of slaves here. But they are, being the descendants of slaves, being the descendants of the people who faced institutionalized apartheid in our country, in our country's past, these people are at a lower socioeconomic strata. They are generally of the low class, the lowest class of our society, minimum wage workers. They live in what we call ghettos, right? They also live in generally live in densely packed inner cities, as opposed to in suburbs, right? So there's numerous ways in which our socioeconomic situation creates these outcomes, and we can address them. As to steal a term from, or to steal a quote from Vosh, if it's genetic, prove it. If it's environmental, fix it. And that second bit, if it's environmental, fix it, that's what BLM means by systemic racism. That's what they're trying to fix. It's the environmental aspects of like black people ending up making up a disproportionate amount of the prison rate, the relationship between black people and the police in these inner cities, et cetera, et cetera. All these problems that result from the socioeconomic conditions faced by black people in America. It's that simple. So if you would look up what systemic racism is, Boo Boo Bennett, you would know that it indeed exists.
There's a lot of numbers that are out there and we don't know. The cops keep it within themselves. You think they don't do things to keep things together?
Let's do a hypothetical. Let's pretend it's not just something that they made up. Let's pretend these are the numbers.
Let's pretend, yes, Boo Boo Bennett, let's pretend that you are correct.
Does that shock you that it was 9?
9's still too many.
I agree with you, but does it shock you?
No, it doesn't.
Is it surprising?
No, it's not surprising, because how I feel, I'm like, 9 is a number, but still the reality is how many black people are in prison.
Why do you think more black people are in prison?
1350!
Exactly.
It's coming.
Do you think? Because I do believe racism is still alive. Like, every little thing is like, oh, let's go ahead and put this guy in there, instead of that same other race guy can do the same exact thing, but he get a lesser charge than that person. That is
true.
True. Purely by, okay, give me
that is actually a problem. That is an aspect of systemic racism. Black men specifically are more likely to get charged, like upcharged for their crime, right? Charged with a more severe charge than they feasibly could. They're more like they get higher sentencing, all factors accounted for, compared to white people, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So not only do black people get arrested disproportionate to their population, they also get disproportionately high prison sentences, which also contributes to the fact that 38% of the prison population are black people.
The population, the percentage of population in America that is African Americans, black people.
That are in prison?
No, just the population in general. No. So it's 13% of the population.
Yes.
Are black people.
Okay.
Or 12.5% actually, but yeah.
They commit
actually 1350ing! She's 1350ing, dude! Oh! I'm so dead, dude. She's actually 1350ing.
Black people commit that 13% of the population, over 50% of violent crime.
Yes. Okay, and we can talk about this, alright? Yeah, I'm not surprised either. We can talk about this, okay? So, as we were just discussing, black people are disproportionately, like, poor, given their history. They are locked into the inner cities, and this environment, this socioeconomic environment, right? This is conducive to creating a culture of crime, right? So they're poor, so they're more likely to turn to gangs as a relief for their, how do I put it? Relief for their like secured, like their financial security, right? As an extra source of income, they're more likely to join a gang, right? They're more likely to commit robbery or even murder or any of these things. They're less educated, like less well educated than middle class counterparts, right? I'm curious how she's. Yeah, me too. Oh, I got yawn. Alright. So, this creates, like, these socioeconomic, these systemic problems that face the black community, or black communities around the country, contributes to the fact that they are more likely to commit violent crime. Like, these factors are conducive to a culture of violent crime. So, once again, if it's genetic, prove it. If it's environmental, fix it.
Crimes in our country. Do you think that might account for why there are more black people in prison or in jail or the system?
But why do you think it's 50%? Why that means you're saying black people are troublemakers?
I'm not saying that. Those aren't my words. I know,
but that's what you're implying. What? See, okay, I think Katrina here, right? That was her name, Katrina. She's like getting at that. She's like, well, why do you think that is? Like, are you saying that there's like a genetic aspect here? Like, are you saying that there's a genetic like predisposition to violent crime here? Are you being racist? And then the only other answer to that, there's only one possible alternative to the genetic argument, and that's it's environmental. And if it's environmental, we can fix it. We can do things, we can do policies to fix it. So as I've just discussed, being poor and being, if there isn't systemic reason. Yeah, exactly. Precisely. You just hit the nail on the head. If systemic racism doesn't exist, you have to take the other default position.
If you get that from the numbers, if that's what the numbers say, then that might explain why there are more black people.
This is as far as her thinking goes. She's just like, black people commit more crime, and then she doesn't actually ask herself the question of why. She's fundamentally incapable of asking herself that question, because she does, like this person on the left here, or on the right here, I mean, rather, this blonde bitch, she is a Nazi. She like, private DMs have been leaked about her talking about like how Jews and shit are evil. Like, she is a Nazi. She might, without trying to be open about it to this person's face, might actually believe like that stupid, like, either like, what's it called, phrenology or whatever with the skull shapes, or she might believe like in the genetic argument. I wouldn't put it past Boo Boo Bennett to actually believe
in our
that.
prison systems. No, you don't. You think it's racism?
I do believe because, like I said, in the end, knowledge is power, but yes, numbers with 9 people altogether got killed from police. Okay, still it's 9 too many, and still how many people are in prison? Still, that's a lot of people. So you can't just tell me, oh, automatically, black people, you just need to stop doing stupid stuff. Like,
well, I didn't say that.
No, I know you didn't say that. I'm not saying that.
All right, hold on. Like, do they? Anything?
60. All right, just say 60. Just use that number. We have 13, and 13%. Predominantly, most of them are bad. Versus the reality is, most of these serial killers, who are they? Who are the people that actually shoot up schools? Who are the people that actually?
Yeah. Okay. So that's an okay point, right? The type of crime that the racial groups commit. She did say that? Did she? I don't know. I didn't hear that. The type of crime that racial groups commit is different, owing to their different socioeconomic, conditions, right? White people are more likely to be serial killers. White people are more likely to shoot up schools or do mass shootings in general, right? Black people are more likely to engage in gang violence, are more likely to engage in armed robbery. Men. True. Honestly, how many mass shootings... What? How many mass shooters are female? Like, none. Alright? The solution is we need to kill all men. Kill all men. Alright? Except Johnny Depp. He gets to live.
Shoot up in Los Angeles. Who are they?
Boo Boo Bennett said that black people are troublesome and then denied it. Did she? I don't remember her saying that.
Other race guy can do the same exact thing, but he get a lesser charge than that person. That is a problem.
Well, do you think it's purely by... Okay, give me the numbers. Do you know the population, the percentage of population in America that is African Americans, black people?
That are in prison?
No, just the population in general. No. So it's 13% of the population are black people.
Okay.
Okay? Black people commit, that 13% of the population, over 50% of violent crimes in our country. Do you think that might account for why there are more black people in prison or the jail or the system?
But why do you think it's 50%? Why? That means you're saying black people are troublemakers.
Well, okay. Well, technically, yes, she did say that, but she has the plausible deniability there.
Our black men, they commit more than 50% of all murders in the country. All murders of any.
Serial killers. If we start with serial killers, because I'm one of those people that I'm really into investigations.
True crime.
So, sure. I mean, I feel I've already addressed the argument.
Crime junkie. I'm a crime junkie fan. No. There's a lot of 60%, you said 60%, right? Of them that they do a lot of crazy crimes.
They sure do.
True. I mean, that kind of disproves the genetic argument, too. Because it's like, white people are, what, nearly 60% of the population. They're committing a lot of crime. Actually, if you look at this, white people are like the only racial demographic. Let's look at Native. Well, how about Native Americans? Wow, they don't even have Native Americans here. What a joke. Well, Hispanic people. It's like 18%. And Hispanic people aren't here either. Where are Hispanic people in this? Are they white? Maybe they're counting that as white. Oh, I don't understand. Apparently. I guess maybe they're counting them under white. Because I was going to say, like, white people are, like, the only racial demographic where their prison population is almost proportional to their actual population. But if they're not counting if they're counting Hispanic people as white, then then that might not be true here, because then it would be less, because if you were to combine you would have to combine these two. So I guess maybe not. I don't know.
All of a sudden, we're the ones that, because we're such a small number, we're 13 compared to you, we're the most dangerous ones.
I'm not saying you're the most dangerous, and I don't want you to think that I'm saying that or claiming that about the black community. I'm not, but...
Okay, so why do they commit so much crime, Boo Boo Bennett?
I really want you to maybe look at, instead of looking at TV shows and documentaries and things that want to grab your attention, look at the statistics. 9% of the population in America are black men. Over 50% of murders in our country. Murders. So when you want to
Okay, but she's just stating that over and over again. She doesn't want to talk about why that is, because she would have to bite the bullet on either being racist or admitting systemic racism exists. Because of the only two outcomes of that.
about serial killers, those are added into their murders.
If you want to be realistic,
because we're not talking about, we're not chanting white lives matter. We're talking about black lives matter. Black people are chanting this.
Though, what is the main reason why Black Lives Matter? Because they just want to let it be known that, hey, we have a problem here. Just acknowledge me.
But what is the problem? Is the problem the police, or is the problem within their community?
The latter. Or the former, I mean, sorry. Well, both, actually, kind of. Alright, so, obviously, like, I disagree with the framing that, like, all of black people's problems are specifically to do with the police. And I think even Black Lives Matter would disagree, like, the organization would disagree with that framing as well. To frame it like that is to say that police are the cause of all of black people's problems, which would ignore all of the other things we talked about earlier. They're not. They simply contribute to the problems. Like, you have all of these factors that play into black people being, like, disproportionately poor and on the inner cities and, you know, being subject to these socioeconomic conditions. And then you have the police who come in and beat the shit out of black people and drag them to jail all the fucking time. So, like, while maybe police aren't the biggest problem, they are a problem that need to be addressed. And they're a problem that, like, is the most apparent, right? They're the problem that is the most in the face of the people who live this experience. Oops.
Because they just want to let it be known that, hey, we have a problem here. Just acknowledge me.
But what is the problem? Is the problem the police, or is the problem within their community?
The problem is, accept me. I'm not a bad person.
No, I don't think anybody thinks that, but the statistics show.
Also, you are the exact same, like, fucking people. Every time a black person is murdered by the police, you'll go out there and dig up their, like, fucking, like, the fact that they smoked weed once when they were 12 to say that they fucking deserved it. So, yes, you are saying that.
It shows that you guys think that. Just think about it. So you just...
I think that?
Statistic shows that you think that black people are bad.
No, statistics can't show what people think. Statistics just show what the reality is. And we can look at statistics
Yes,
and
but
graphs
you
and things
don't
that
want
have
to
been
challenge
collected
the
over
question
decades, and we can see
of
where the problems might
what
be
that
within these
reality
communities
or
that
how
are
that
destroying
reality
the
comes
cities
about.
right now. We can look at these statistics and we can maybe narrow down where the issue might be. And if we want to solve issues, I tell you what, Black Lives Matter is not the
No, incorrect. Black Lives Matter already acknowledges and already knows everything you just said and has answers for it. You don't. You just want to oppress black people, basically.
the place we need to look for solving issues with police brutality when they want to take the fathers out of the home. You remove the fathers, you destroy the nuclear family for children that need to grow up.
I want to debate Boo Boo Bennett. You people keep telling me to debate Destiny and debate Vosh and debate Infrared. I'm not going to debate any of those people until I debate Caitlin Bennett. When I could debate Caitlin Bennett, that's what I'll debate. Anyone else?
Up in a stable family structure, their odds of committing crime and going to jail skyrocket. I don't know why we say black people have an issue with the police and then want to make their risk of getting involved in the police go up. I would encourage you to look at their mission statement.
Yeah, their mission statement is to address a lot of the problems I just talked about. I don't think so. She's happy to debate random people on the street because she thinks it makes her look better, but it actually ends up making her look worse. Yeah, Flutter Twitter. Get her. I want Caitlin Bennett brought to me on a silver platter. I want to debate Caitlin Bennett. True! Bro, I'd obliterate her. I would make her look so stupid. She would never put it in the video. It would get edited out. There's no way. There's absolutely no fucking way that would make it into the video. She'd be like, the fucking, like, she'd be talking to me and the fucking YouTube buffering symbol would appear in her eyeballs as she tried to comprehend what I just told her. Like, she wouldn't know what to do with herself. Anyway, I think we can move on from this. This is a... I think we've learned a lot from this. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, when the communists destroyed her. Yeah, Hassan Hobby. I saw that on Hassan's channel, yeah. And his name is Hassan. So, I don't know, I think we've gained some value out of this video. I got to explain a little bit about systemic racism, so, you know. I might clip that as a segment. So how are you guys doing? You guys enjoying the stream so far? I don't know how much longer we're gonna go because it's getting pretty late. It's like 9 o'clock, or is it 9 o'clock? Yeah, it's 9 o'clock exactly on the dot. Yeah, sorry I started even later than I did, but I wanted to get this this second monitor set up because it just looks pretty sick now. It looks really good. Nice. Having the second monitor helps a lot because I don't have to one, I can look at chat while responding to videos without having my phone out, and two, you guys don't have to see all the technical and shit on my screen all the time. You just see the video. Big improvement over yesterday's stream, I think. A kimono, nice. Posted the Discord. Let's see. I want to see it. Can I show it? Can I show it to the stream? Wait, what? Why did it minimize this? What the hell? Nice. Check that out. I think that's pretty sick. You'll look great in it, Sybil. You will look fantastic. I think we should probably wrap up there. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys got videos and shit that you want me to respond to, then you can either just DM them to me on Discord or what's it called? Or put them in the Discord server. If you guys want to debate, or if you're watching and you don't know who I am, and you think you can beat me in a debate on anything discussed in the stream so far, then you can join my Discord server and we'll